All right, we're recording. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to episode 4. We have a legend on here, old 82nd Paratrooper, Donald McAlister, retired, right? So we were thinking, me and Chris, as we gone through this, and we're trying to, bring the right people on here. They're true people. They're true to their story. They're just good human beings on this podcast. And we were putting our head together, and I thought of Mac. Mac has a lot of history with me, going back to 82nd, so having him on here, have him tell his story, and we just bullshit for a couple hours, and he's got some good stuff. He's really connected in the veteran community, especially with his battalion that he went to, Afghanistan with. Was a pretty tough fight. So, yeah, welcome, brother. Welcome to the Boots and Shoots Unfiltered.
Well, thanks for having me, brother. I'm here for you, man. This is cool as shit. Like I said, man, just keep doing what you're doing. It's important.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, it's stressful, but it's fun, dude. And it's good for the mental health to do this and sit here and talk and connections. And I made some good connections on this, and bringing the right people on is like what you said before we started to record is key to this. So I guess we'll start. You got anything, Chris, to talk to back about? Any opening comments, Commander?
No, I'm honestly I'm excited to hear your story. Reading through your bio, Mac, I watched a couple clips from how do you say it? Is it the one movie Sanshi?
The Secret of Sinchini.
Sinchini. There we go.
I think it's supposed to be a Native American word. I don't know if it's like a legit Native American word, but
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm really excited to get to know you. And hear your story. Watched a couple clips of that. Watched a couple clips from one of your earlier podcasts as well. Just excited to fucking get you on here and shoot the shit and get to know you.
Cool. Man.
All right, where did old Mac start? Where'd you come from? What's some of your history, man? Where are you from?
I'll say it quick. I'm from I'm a little redneck from Podunk, Louisiana. When I came in the Army, I got everybody's like Raging Cajun and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm a fucking Mick, man. Is there any Cajun in it? Come on. But I originally grew up in Louisiana, joined the Army in 92. First duty assignment was the Old Guard, then the 25th, then the 82nd, and then I stayed at Bragg like forever, and then I went to 10th Mountain, and then I came back. But it's weird, I tell you what I hate, man, is because I've seen all these professional speakers and all this shit, I've been to all these things, and they're like, no shit, there I was.
Yeah.
I joined the Army in August or July of 1992. I went to here. It's like, dude, whatever, man, get to what's really important. But man, truthfully, I'm probably like y'all, as far as war stories go and shit. I know I've forgotten way more than I fucking, and then with those, y'all know to deal with that shit. It's just like everything. But no, man, like I said, I did the Old Guard. That was my first duty assignment. And then, I did kind of like you did Trump's inauguration. I did Clinton's inauguration.
Okay.
Actually,
I think we were in DC the same time.
We were at the same time.
Because I was there.
You were at 8th and I, right?
Yeah, I was in 8th and I. I got there like 96, something like 95, 96 or 96. When were you there?
I got there on New Year's Eve of 92, so turned into 93.
Oh, okay.
And then, for Clinton's first inauguration, I was just a cordon. I didn't have blues on or nothing because I was just a private. Didn't even have. Back then, they called it new man training. I don't know what they call it now.
Yeah.
But we did new man training. But but I wound up doing over 4 years in the Old Guard because I got extended to do Clinton's second inauguration because I had the top secret White House clearance back then.
Yeah. So
everybody had it.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but not the reason the Old Guard, I'll tell you this, dude. I don't know if how it was back then was different or what, but when I first got to that unit, my first platoon sergeant was a Ranger battalion, jumped into Panama, was a freaking stud. He made sergeant major and shit. My first squad leader jumped into Grenada and Panama when I was in the old guard.
Damn.
My first team leader was a he was a Desert Storm vet, so all the other guys gave him shit. But I had, when you left the old guard, like when I left there, in the late 90s, I went to Hawaii. And when I got to Hawaii, one of the first things I did was I just made staff sergeant, or I was an E5P or whatever, is we go out to the Kahukus to do like a brigade, FTX or whatever. Yeah. And other squad leaders and all were making bets about me falling out on the ruck march and all, because we were, it was like a 25-mile foot march out there and all. And it smoked it all, and then it was all over. And they're like, dude, what the fuck, man? We thought you're fucking old guard and all that shit. I was like, dude, everybody there has to have 90 points in each event on the PT test.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you're getting kicked the fuck out. Like back when I was there, you had to have a 270 or above, 90 in each one, or you were fucking done. I was like, the other thing is everybody had to look good, so you better be in fucking shape. Yeah. And then, like I said, I had a Ranger Regiment platoon sergeant that was a fucking running beast.
Mm-hmm.
So like, back in those days, platoon sergeants and all could do 10-mile runs and all that shit without having to do safety briefs and shit.
Yeah.
But my point to those guys was, I told them all back then, I was like, dude, it don't matter where the fuck you come from. What matters is, do you know your fucking job?
Yeah.
And can you do it? And I told them all, I was like, I'm a better fucking infantryman than all of you. I guarantee it.
I don't think I've ever ran so much in my life.
Oh yeah.
No.
Because everybody's like, hey man, let's go to the memorial. Let's go to the Lincoln Memorial today.
When you remember we were all like
6-mile run.
Yeah. Like we would
it's like, hey, there's so many things to run to.
Yeah. Take your shirt off so you're running down the mall,
Yeah.
I'm like old school.
But
no, man.
Let's go over to George Washington.
Yeah.
Goddamn PO.
But the old guard's important to my story because, like I said, I got to be around really great, top-notch senior NCOs and all. And I got to aspire to be guys that, around the old guard, the other guys around you, they're just like you. They're like, what the fuck's going on? Like I didn't even know what the old guard was, this little kid got, hey, you want to go? Fucking, you can get all these girls. It's DC. And all right, I'm from Louisiana. But it was great for my career because like legitimately it made everything else easy.
Yeah. I think we had I think Mac, you and me got like a similar career, man.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's funny because now you're talking about that.
You do.
What battalion did you go in Schofield?
Oh, I was in 127.
Oh, okay. I went to 114. So I'm the same way because I went from the old guard to 25th, then the 82nd.
Yep.
And then, so spent time in Ted Mountain and start making so it's pretty much a similar one. But
yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, but no, like, so, the old guard was, I met my wife there. She's from Maryland, like you are.
Okay.
Which was cool. And I better not fuck this up. August will be 33 years we've been married.
Oh, that's awesome.
30. No, I'm sorry. No, it will be 32, 30. She's going to kill me. But it's 30 something. Just put it that way. But she's put up with me all this time and she still looks good and, dealt with my military career. Like when I got hit in 03 and, fought through it, wanted to stay in, she's like, were you doing just 20 and that's it? And then, sergeant major crap happens. It's like, yeah, no, we're doing over 20.
Yeah.
But no, man. So I did the old guard. Got to learn a lot there. Got to do a lot. I went to the 25th, and then from the 25th went to the 82nd. Got to the 82nd in I think August of 02, and then I got there. August of 02, and then I think.
Did you get there right after the NTC deployment when they got?
No, I was there right before the NTC deployment.
Yeah, so I got there right after.
Yeah, so I got there. I think I got there in August, and then I think we went to NTC in either September or October.
Yeah.
when we did that
Okay.
crazy
Everybody
ass
talking
jump.
about the jump into NTC.
Yeah. And, what's funny is I literally, I was a staff sergeant. I wasn't a jump master, 5 jump chump. And that wasn't my first jump because I did one before, but it was a night mass tack on Bragg. And my platoon sergeant at the time let me do it. But he's like, if anybody asks you jumped Hollywood, because I told him, I was like, sorry, I can't do Hollywood when all these dudes are jumping. I was like, is it gonna fucking kill me? He's like, no, you'd be good. I was like, well, let me fucking jump. Because I didn't want to look like a punk in front of the boys, even though they know the deal. But I got to the 82nd, man, and what I loved about when I got there was, out of all the places I'd been, it was the closest, out of the units and everything, it was the closest to the old guard as far as camaraderie goes.
It was.
Because, and there are only certain units in the Army that you see that in, but it's like, the deal, like back in the day, everybody wore their fucking 201 file on the back of their trucks and shit. It's like they were so proud of what they did. And, I don't know if y'all can hear my dogs, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
But,
what did you what company did you said you went to Charlie Company when you went there when you first
I was in Charlie Company, White Falcons. Like I said, I was there, got there, I was 3rd squad leader, and then right before we deployed, right after NTC, I took over weapon squad, and then we deployed, I was weapon squad leader, and then once we got to Baghdad, I made the list and then moved over to Alpha.
There's nothing like paratrooper mentality, man.
No.
Because like you just said, man, when I was in the 25th, it was cool. There's good training in 25th.
No, we busted our asses.
That division trains hard just because the train and the deployment opportunities to who you train, we can train Japanese, all those kind of things. Because partying with the Japanese is a whole other level, by the way. So,
dude, yeah. I don't know. You've seen my pictures, I'm
the same way. Did you guys tear off? We did like the little drinking thing with them, and everybody's tearing their patches off. Everybody's coming back with no shit on their stuff.
I have a picture I have to send you because I'm wearing like a Japanese colonel's hat. I'm in my BDUs, and you can see all my stuff where it's the threads at, but it's all ripped off. And I even had a dude. And I was like, man, I can't do that because it was some expensive ass badass watch. And I had like a G-Shock or something, and this just Japanese colonel was like beating me up to trade watches with me. And finally, first sergeant was like, do it. I'm like, all right. Yeah. But he was like, yeah, it's an honor for those guys. But yeah, it was I told my wife, if before we die, I would love to take her to vacation there because I've never been anywhere where the people are so nice.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
That's how it was for me down in Italy.
You see over everybody and everybody's shoulder to shoulder, but nobody's mad at each other. And it's just weird, man.
That was wild. I enjoyed doing that. But I tell you, when I was at 25th, I got a squad leader that came from the 82nd. And I was still like a little bit in the Marine mentality because he came from the Marine Corps and doing this. And I was still looking for that, discipline and tradition and history. Like they beat history into you. And I was like, he was telling me all these stories from the 82nd Airborne Division. And I was like, man, that sounds really, and I'm a little history guy. So I knew a little bit about World War II and all the jumps and all that kind of stuff. So I knew that prior, but I was like, man, this would be really cool. This is like something that I want to dig. So he got me on it. And I re-enlisted to go there. So, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. So
that's what kind of happened to me. It was my first sergeant, First Sergeant Yancey. I was retired Sergeant Major Yancey, but he was from, where the hell was he from? I always told me he's from Trailer Park, Virginia, but he was like one of the most country dudes I met in the Army. And, I'm country back in the day, but that dude, man, was out of him and Sergeant McDowell, out of all the NCOs in the 25th that I ever worked with, man, those dudes were like, no bullshit, everything. They were so well-rounded. There were a lot of, you get to look back and you learn from your peers and all that stuff. And there were a couple grizzled squad leaders there that were nothing but, 25th guys. So, I'm the new pretty boy coming in there and all. But the thing is they weren't they weren't real well-rounded NCOs. Like they thought, field was everything, which field is important. But what guys don't understand is field is not where discipline comes from.
Yeah.
Discipline comes from the rear. And that's the hardest part. And like, and the other piece to it is what I loved about First Sergeant Yancey was he was like a First Sergeant Love. There's the Army way, and that's the fucking way. And that's it. You're going to do it right, and that's it. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to discuss it. If you do it right the first time, it's over. Like, hey, this needs to be done, do it. So, but anyway, man, like, yeah, he was kind of, they were, like big reasons that I went to the 82nd. Plus I knew, with everything going on with September 11th and all that, all hell was going to break loose. And then got there. And like I said, next thing you know, and what was it, January, February 03, we're deployed,
we left quick too.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm so like now I'm almost 10 years retired. I did almost 25 in the Army, and like I've got so much history, but like there's so much of it up here, but unless there's somebody there to actually like ring a bell for it, I can't access it. Does that make sense to y'all?
I'm the same way, bro.
Yeah.
I sometimes I talk to my wife, man, like when I was doing the VA stuff, I was like, man, I got TBI or something. I can't remember. Like, there's got to be like a trigger. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, because sometimes I see people like they just can just think of things really quick, and man, I'm getting older. Like, you can't remember everything.
Well, the difference too, man, is like, in the veteran community, guys like us, we're 25, 30-year guys. Most of the guys got 4 or 8 years, and they. Yeah, and like I'll be with my wife somewhere, and like the dude will talk to me, and she's like, "Who was that?" And I'm like, "Fuck, I can't remember because it was so long ago."
Yeah.
But what's weird about, and I don't know how I got on this, but I got to say this.
It's all, hey, we're going with it.
Yeah, but what's weird is how there are those guys that like with all that, you got to look back, and you just wanted to. You had a bond with them like no other, and you don't know why. And then like now, even I'm trying to make it come out the right way. Like, so basically, what I'm talking about is like, I was in the old guard. I was in 25th. I was in 10th Mountain. All these guys. Like, I got good buddies from all of those, but I got. And I call them brothers. They're my brothers. But at the end of the day, when we sit there and bullshit and shoot the shit and all, I still can't talk to them the way that I could talk to you, like if it's just me and you. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to get to, is like there's different and in the 82nd, man, like even when I got to 10th Mountain, out of the academy, my brigade sergeant major was I think he's a 4th ID guy. He was a good dude. Don't get me wrong. But he always got pissed at me because it's like, this ain't the 82nd, all your 82nd-isms. And I'd be like, Sergeant Major, it ain't 82nd-isms, it's fucking Army-isms. Yeah. Like, this is what the Army does. Yeah. But anyway, so let me go get off the tangent. I don't know why I went there.
I tell you, Mac, I agree with you too, man, because like if you look at the veteran community now, man, it's like a lot of people tearing each other down, bro.
Oh,
like, yeah. Politics in there, tearing everybody apart. People aren't taking care of each other like they need to. Like, well, it's a little bit of, showboaty kind of thing. It's all about the clicks and likes and stuff like that. But no, we still gotta talk to each other, still have that brotherhood and stuff. So, Chris is one of the 173rd. So we'll let him, go for there, but he's still a paratrooper.
But what I'm saying is like me and you, I don't know, man. It's just something. If you're on that dirt with somebody, there's a bond that you'll never have with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But it's also, if I can real quick, Mike, is because I've been lucky in my career, I think, in that so technically I was stationed in Fort Lewis and Fort Drum. Those are the two largest installations I have ever been on. In the grand scheme of things in the military, neither one of those are considered large installations, especially back when I was in Fort Lewis.
Yeah.
And so I've served in a lot of smaller and or separate units. And what that does in the 82nd, despite it being one of the largest military bases, because of its unique tradition and its specific operational skill set, being an airborne paratrooper, you can lump it in there with it. When you get tight units like that, there is no greater bond,
No.
right? And I dare say, I don't know for certain, but I dare say that it almost would not have even mattered if you hadn't deployed with them. You would probably still be as tight with Jerry now, even still, because of all the shit you went through
That's a
in
good
the
point.
82nd, right? And so I look at like 2CR. I never deployed with 2CR, but when I was in 2CR over in Europe, that was when I had just come in right after Russia had seized the Crimea.
Yeah.
And so that is when the U.S. started sending units up and down what's called the Russian Crescent there. So from Estonia in the north all the way down to Romania, and just kind of back and forth doing missions and exercises. And so I was actually deployed there probably more than I've been deployed anywhere else over a 2-year span, because we were just constantly going out and doing training with other European partners. And then we'd come back for a little bit and then we'd go back out. And so some of those guys, aside from like Jerry, my first sergeant, Sergeant Major Mitch Rucker.
Rucker was
and-
my brigade sergeant major when I was CSM.
Yeah. So he is one of my best friends. And so aside from some of those people, the sergeant major that was my squadron CSM there, he's probably my best friend besides those guys. And we didn't deploy together, but we were in a smaller unit. We were forced to be together. We went through some tough shit together, did some great fucking training, and that builds that bond. It builds that camaraderie, right?
Yep.
And so I look at, like, I hesitate to say this, Jerry, because I don't want to talk bad, but when you and I have talked about this and we sat through the meetings with our brigade commander when we were still in command, you don't have that in the 10th Mountain as a whole, right? It's go ahead.
Yeah, because I agree with that, because like if you look at the other divisions and you look at All American Week, right?
Yeah.
Like the guys that come out to all paratroopers that come out to, dudes will cancel a week of work to come there, right? Like the 10th, not that I love the 10th Mountain Division, but we try to do like an All American Week. Like we try to do it, but it's just not the same. Like it's probably like that across the Army. Like when the paratroopers get together, man, it just like it goes all the way back. I don't know,
different.
maybe because our lineage goes all the way back to whenever, right? But
I think that's got to do with it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, just like you said, the importance is the shared suffering part.
Yeah.
Like
trauma bonding, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, man, I mean, like, I'm really close with guys, I never deployed with, they were in the old guard with me and all, but I just, like I said, I wouldn't be able to sit down and talk to them about some of the things I could talk to the other guys about, because it's just like, if this makes sense to you, and I've talked to some of my buddies about it, like a lot of these guys, when they get out, after 3 or 4 years, they got like that one war story or that one thing and all that shit. And it's like, dude, like you got to quit living off of that. Just let it go, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Just let that shit go. That's why he's, but anyway, man,
your personality, man.
Yeah.
So,
but long story short, basically I did all that, but my real story started for me, truthfully, in October 2003 when I got hit, because it changed everything for me. Like
I remember that, by the way, I was at the car. Yeah.
Yeah. I got fucked up pretty bad.
You were in 2nd platoon, right? Alpha Company.
I had just taken over the platoon.
Yeah.
And when I got hit, we were in that truck, no doors, no armor, no nothing. And then I had just told Bergner, I was like, dude, because remember they just had the cover over the two front seats. And I was like, hey man, you jump up in TC, I'll jump in the back and pull security because there wasn't no cover or nothing, you know. And he was like, are you sure, sir? And then sure enough, when we got hit, the way the bomb hit and everything, it just basically threw him out, so he didn't get a scratch.
Yeah.
I've ran into him a couple times at the 82nd convention, and he still talks about it's my fault. Like, dude, shut up. Like, stop that shit. Like, none of that. Yeah. That's just Murphy. Murphy's freaking got to vote. But what I'll say with that is, like, that was where my career as a senior NCO, where I truly understood how important my job was after that. Yeah. Like, before that, I understood and I knew my job well, but I still had that kind of fuck it, I'm bulletproof mentality. You know what I mean? As opposed to still having that little bit of, hey, I need to take a fucking tactical pause and check this shit out, you know, do everything. So, and then, you know, when I got hit, what fucked me up about it was when you look back on it, when you're a leader like that, you know, you're like, what the fuck did I miss? And you're like, I missed something because I was fucking complacent or something. You know, and so, you know, I get evac. They almost took my eye in Germany. They saved it. And then I went to Walter Reed, and, you know, I had the shrapnel on my hip and legs. My shoulder was dislocated. This eye was ripped back. My lip was peeled. But like, I was fucked up, man. And was in Germany, then Walter Reed. And I think I did Walter Reed. I was there for probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months total. But, you know, I got to, just so I say it so I don't forget. So I was in Walter Reed in 2003, right? There was no system, no nothing. I had 20 different doctors. Some fucking fat ass staff sergeant walked in my room one morning and tried to tell me he was my platoon sergeant. I told him I'd fucking kill him if he didn't get out of my fucking room. And, the commander made that go away.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was just, it was so weird. But the reason I say that is because after my 9-10 deployment, my guys got fucked up really bad. I went right after deployment, man. And it was such a breath of air to see how taken care of they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they were really, because I know I went through all the bullshit, but they were being taken care of. Like, it was.
Yeah, man, you got hit in the beginning too. I think, you know, I remember that day. I think a lot of people had to do some we had to do some reflection because it was like shit. Like, you know, we were driving around in soft skins, no armor, like you said. I mean, we have a whole squad on the back. I remember sitting on the tailgate chasing dudes through the city, feet dragging on the ground. Like, you know, I don't want to say we were kind of complacent at the time. I think, but we might have been. I don't know, but that kind of shaped us a little bit to, you know, especially that route, because I think we had to travel that all the time because we were at the power plant.
You know, and you get, like in my place, you know, I looked at it, you know, it had to be complacency, even though I felt like I was pulling security and all. But anyway, the point to it is I had to fight through my injuries. I didn't get med boarded, but I've seen so many dudes on podcasts and all this shit talk about med board. I didn't get med boarded because I didn't let them give me a med board. They wanted to, but you got to be on profile for a year to get medically chaptered out, right? Fucking Sergeant Major Flowers had to tell me, hey, motherfucker, if I see you foot marching, I'm going to fucking put you in the S2 shop. You know, because I was like, fuck this shit. I'm getting back in the fight. Because, you know, I tell everybody, like, now with that, and I don't, like, when I talk to dudes, I don't tell my story and shit. I don't talk about this and all. But what I do know is, based off of who I am now, if the Army would have chaptered me out back then, or I would have let them, because I could have easily got out. Easy. Because y'all know how it is. If you're hurt, like, and you got all the injuries, all you got to do is fucking live with them and go, and they'll get you the fuck out. Or you got to do a person that's like, I'm going to fucking heal up and get back in the fight. But no, you know, that getting hit, you know, like what it did was it made me understand that, number one, you know, you may be the best, well equipped, trained, whatever, and have kicked ass for months and months and doing everything. But at the end of the day, that it's just like Murphy says, the enemy's got to fucking vote.
Yeah.
And so you got to always have that in your mind. And so that, you know, basically, man, when I came back and I got myself back and Flowers let me have the platoon back, you know, when I came back to Alpha Company, dude, I was a PT stud. I was like, you know, doing my shit because I wanted to be back in the fight, you know.
Yeah.
And now I'll tell you one other piece of this. I haven't told, I might have told this a couple times, but so when we deployed in, was it November of 04?
Mm-hmm. Which one to Mosul?
The second one for the elections. When we
Mosul.
went to Baghdad first and then Mosul. I think it was 04.
Yep.
But
oh shit, I was up in Mosul then.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, see, man. But
yeah, they had us like I think they had us along Route Irish for a little bit.
Yeah,
and
for
then,
like 2 weeks.
Yeah, Mosul started popping off, so they sent us up there.
I was the asshole driving around in a striker up there.
Oh well, yeah. I did a left seat, right seat ride with you guys on a striker out there in old Mosul. But
that was a good striker unit, man. I think was it
125.
125 or it was 1242, I think.
You probably 124. 124.
I got a coin from y'all's brigade commander. I mean, not brigade, brigade sergeant major. Because Flowers told me about him, and he was like, he gave me that. And if you remember, I don't know if you remember how, but you could ask Love this. He gave me that, and all of you guys had Oakleys. We didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me a set of Oakleys, and Flowers looked at Love and said, Max authorized to wear them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, because I remember that because they were rolling around with like they had those patches on their shoulders.
We had everything.
They had like Connexes full of Oakleys. Like, they were putting money into those units, man. And we're out here trying to.
No. What it was is so when we came in 3-2, 3rd Brigade 2ID out of Fort Lewis, they were the first striker brigade to deploy. So that was what they were there 03 to 04, I guess. And that was when money at that point was just flowing as far as units deployed being able to buy whatever they want. And so they had like Connexes of GPS. If you remember the Rhino GPSs, the Wrist GPSs, which were brand new back then, the Oakleys, all that shit. And so when we came in, they didn't take any of it with them. They took, individual soldier shit, but they left Connexes of that stuff in Mosul when we showed up in October of 04. And we just fell in on it. But I kid you not, within like 2 months of being there, the funds just went fucking dry. And so, like, I remember our battalion, I was in 1-5 infantry. So we were actually down. We started off, it sounds like UMAC. We actually started off down in Baghdad as the operational reserve, our battalion did. We went over to Fallujah for when the Marines went into Fallujah in 04. Supported them, and then that's when Mosul fell, and so we haul ass up north to Mosul the first time it fell. So November, I think it was, something like that, October, November, somewhere around there. And the battalion that we had ripped with out of 3-2, they had left all their shit up there. So when we finally meet up with the rest of the brigade, we go to check the Connexes and shit. What do you think fucking happened to those? They're fucking pilfered.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it was all fucking gone. So about 2 months later, I was a captain at this point, still a PL. They wouldn't send me back to school, which is fine. I was there on the deployment, and so they were like, "All right, man, you're going to be the battalion S4." I'm like, "Fuck, great. I don't know where the MREs are, and I don't know where the bullets are. What do you need?" Kind of thing. One of the first things my battalion commander said when I took over, he was like, "Chris, what fucking Oakleys? Why does Deuce 4 have Oakleys? Why does 321 have Oakleys and we don't have Oakleys?" I'm like, "Sir, because our battalion left their shit here and we don't have money anymore. So don't get me started on fucking Oakleys, man. We didn't have the money. That was 3-2.
Dude, I remember.
Well, they were the one. He gave me some, so
yeah. I remember you could go to the supply and grab one of those things.
Oh yeah, like
They used
Like
to be giving those out like candy.
Once the OEF and
Oh,
OIF
yeah.
funds started coming,
Yeah.
everybody's getting was it Benchmade knives, the
Oh, yeah.
fucking Oakleys,
Yep.
the fucking.
The
Just
Benchmades, we did have Benchmades.
Yeah. Just before I get off of it, so I don't forget. So when I was the first sergeant, because it's an Oakley story. So
Yeah.
this is a funny story. So we're getting ready to go to JRTC, right? Like literally, guys were forming up for me to come out, do final fucking manifest call, make sure everybody's getting ready. And I come outside the formation, and one of my platoon sergeants, I love him to death. He's a fucking stud, but he had just came from LURS, and he was still in cool guy mentality. So he had got the hookup through standard issue from some dude that worked there and all, and got his whole platoon half jackets, right?
Ooh, nice.
And I come out there, they're all wearing them. And commander's standing there. I was like, Sergeant Fraser, what's up with them glasses y'all are wearing? He's like, yeah, first sergeant got the hookup from a buddy. They're Oakleys. I was like, that's cool. If I fucking see them again, you're fucking done. You got fucking 2 minutes. Go. They're not on the fucking April list. Fix your shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said that in front of the fucking company. And then after we were all done, I was like, dude, if you would have just came and asked me, you could have saved yourself a lot of fucking embarrassment. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I was like, but my point being is I know first sergeants that would have let that slide.
Yeah.
And you can't. And that's the thing is like, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's the standard, it's the fucking standard. It's the standard is there for a reason,
Yep.
But anyway, to get off of that. So, but yeah, dude, I mean, I'm like y'all, we all been like all over the place and done a lot of shit.
Who was our first sergeant when you got hit?
Hollis.
Hollis was? Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, when I saw him when he was in the Sergeant Major Academy, I went to Texas for something.
Yeah.
But, it was Hollis, and then Love took over after him, I think.
Yeah.
When we got back.
Yep.
Because Love was attached to us when I was in Charlie Company as with one of the Delta platoons.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But like it's, we're like tell our story. You could sit there and say, but dude, like seriously, combat and that truly it, being a father and a husband changed me as a man. But realistically, what all that made me understand in 2003 was like badges don't matter, fucking muscles don't matter. The only thing that fucking matters is, do you have all your fucking blocks checked? Have you checked them all? Have you fucking double checked? Have you done your PCCs, PCIs? And I became a Nazi, dude. Like realistically, like a uniform Nazi, even worse than I was before, because I knew how important that shit was. And then, and unfortunately for me, at the same time, I'm transitioning into this like headspace where it was almost like I could tell you I wasn't in the headspace yet. I still had the blinders on, but it was almost that epiphany you get when you take a company and then after the first couple of days, you open up to a whole new world of the Army that you've never fucking seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like dudes don't understand that shit, And fortunately for me, as a very young platoon sergeant, I had Love as a first sergeant. And Love was the same way. I don't give a fuck. Standard is standard. You don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
And if you're a fucking NCO and you can't do PT, you need to get the fuck out of here. Shit like that.
Yeah, I still have a problem, Mac, talking to Love, man. Like, I love him to death. Like, we had him on here, man. It's so weird for me to call him Jack. Like,
because he's always
back when he took over, bro, he was like, if you got DUI, he had the whole company was in there at 03 in the morning. And that dude was up front.
But that's because him and the commander and the entire fucking platoon chain of command had to go see the fucking division.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said when I had him on here, man, like even when I got up through my leadership and I worked through my way up to my command and stuff, like if I ever ran into a dilemma, dude, I was like, well, in my mind, I'm like, what would Love do? So, just based off the impression that he made on me. So But yeah,
And
he'd fuck you up. You don't want to be on his bad side.
And I got to say something else too. And this is important too, because y'all are even younger than me. But our generation still, because we're that GY generation, right?
Yep.
The dudes like Sergeant Major Flowers got beat up towards the end of his career, but they never had to wear that kit like we wore and all that shit all the time, day and day. And, I always have people tell me, you got to be fucked up from jumping and all that. So I'm like, no, it's from wearing all that fucking kit all the time, man.
Yep.
Like you figure your body armor, when you got your weapons, your fucking radio, if you're lucky, it's 70 pounds.
Mac, what sucked, man. Do you remember driving up to Samoa? Dude, right in the back of those trucks with all that shit on. Like, I don't think my back has ever been the same from that, man. The bumps of those old 5 tons and then wearing all that gear. And,
dude,
and obviously, as we went through the Iraq war, everybody wanted to add more body armor on, nut protectors, neck protectors, shoulder plates.
Shoulder protectlike,
it's like, dude, how much more can the average infantryman wear? So.
Dude, when they brought out the Kevlar underwear, I was like, I get it, but there's no way an infantryman can perform in this. Like, no, I mean, because literally, I know dudes that their fucking nuts got blown off. Like, but what are you gonna do?
They didn't bring those up. Those weren't. You guys didn't wear those till Afghanistan, right?
Yeah, we didn't. Like, they tried to give them to us, I think, one of the deployments, but obviously we were like, fuck that. Nobody can wear them. If you were like a transportation unit or something, you just wore them while you're in the vehicle or something. But
so I know when I was there 07, 08, we were kind of on the front end at that point for Afghanistan, where they were actually being kind of smart about it, in my opinion, because what they were doing is they had let I was 173rd. So we go in there, we're in the Korengal, in Kunar province and all that stuff, and we're walking up and down mountains every single day. And so they actually let us go buy civilian hiking boots to be able to walk up and down in. Eventually they started getting us some lighter Kevlar. It still wasn't what Jerry and I finished with right now. Like, I wish we would have had, which is basically a plate carrier. It's a little bit more than a plate carrier, but it's basically a plate carrier. I would have loved to have had that.
I don't know if we tested the first generation in 910, but we got them when they first came out with the plate carriers, and they didn't have the cummerbund. You just put the side plates on.
Okay.
We had those in the Arghandab, and that did help us a lot because everything was on foot, instead of wearing IOTVs.
Everything. Yes.
But
I tell you, Mac, here's a quick story. It's me and Chris's story from 10th Mountain Man, but load management for CSM especially today's fight, peer to peer, like, you're fighting same capabilities as, what you have, right?
Here you got,
dude, like we went into
10 years ago.
Yeah. We went into our first field problem, bro. And it was like, man, it had to be, I don't know, it's Fort Drum in the winter.
Yeah.
And it had to be, I don't know, 4 feet of snow. I don't know how. It was a lot.
Got
it was
two
like
blizzards back to back. Yeah.
But we really struggled trying to make the guys lighter, trying to have them maneuver, drop rucks. They have these little plate, trying to figure out how we can manage all that so they can be, effective on the objective with these long movements, because everything was on foot, fighting, doing in the defensive offense. How do we utilize like our, FSC to help us drop, move shit? Like, it was hard.
Jerry,
man.
the minimum load plan just for one soldier was what, 100 pounds?
Yeah.
In winter, right? Because when you start thinking about all the shit you got to have in Fort Drum, and Jerry's not kidding. Like, we literally in a 2-week period, we had 2 blizzards come back to back, and so it got so bad at one point they shut us down for 3 or 4 days. Jerry, I can't remember. We had to stop training, get to shelter, wait for the snow to kind of stop things. But how do you account for all of that? Being able to walk, and one of the things you cannot take away from the 10th Mountain is they walk like fucking mountain goats.
Oh yeah.
There. But how do you get them to be able to walk to their objective and still be fresh enough to fight?
Yeah, still be
And so
effective.
and so what Jerry's talking about, he and some of the first sergeants came up with using our FSC element, our forward support company, to be able to, like, we would have all these empty trailers. And so we would basically have one truck and a trailer follow behind each company so that as they started to get close, fucking be able to throw the rucks and shit on the back of the trailer, we're still far enough out of contact so that these guys were still somewhat fresh when they got to the objective. It's fucking difficult. It
Yeah.
is really
Yeah.
fucking difficult to
Load
manage that
management's
as a light
hard, man.
infantry. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you go from being a first sergeant or company commander, and the next
Yeah.
thing you know, you got, 800 to 1,000 freaking bubbas.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, it's but like I like when I made the sergeant major list, I'll be honest with you, I didn't want it. If
I
I
was
could have
kind of
turned
the
it,
same way.
if I could have turned it down, I would have.
What was some of your quirks as a first sergeant, Mac? Like, what was some of the things that the guys knew? Oh shit, you better put your iPro on. Like, oh shit, you better, better have standard. Better not be even fake ass IBA.
Now for me, it was like one of my big pet peeves were like cuff sleeves.
Yeah,
and the only reason I hated that shit is because the Army said you couldn't fucking do it. You couldn't roll your sleeves no more. So I was like, all right, motherfuckers. And I'm not, nothing against officers, sir. Every officer back in the day, but every officer back in the day I would catch, they were the ones that always gave this fucking excuse when they had their sleeves cuffed. Well, I was eating chow first, sergeant. I didn't want to get nothing on my sleeve. Shut the fuck up, sir. I'm like, how about button that bitch? But
if it makes you feel better, I wouldn't have told you that. I would just told you I think I prefer it better like this because I get more breeze up there, so it keeps me cooler.
Then we'd have had a problem right there. If you were a lieutenant, you'd have had a bad day.
But if you, Sergeant Major, were my Sergeant Major and you would have come up, just like if Jerry would have come up to me and said, sir, can you undo your sleeves and button them? I would have said, yeah, okay. I don't want to, but yeah. If you ask me to, then I will do that.
But what I would do, though, if I came to tell you, hey, sir, why the fuck are your sleeves cuffed like that? Well, because I was eating chow. Well, why do we not cuff our sleeves? And back then, there was a really important reason for it. PPE.
Yeah.
One of the first things you had to fucking answer on that witness statement was he wearing proper PPE? Was his sleeves down? Was he wearing his gloves? Was he fucking all that shit? And do I think, like I told my NCOs, I'm like, do I think wearing fucking knee pads or fucking buttoning your fucking uniform is going to keep you alive? No, but the discipline to fucking do it because I fucking told you to will.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't give a fuck. You're an infantryman. Like, suck it the fuck up. It's designed for you to fucking do it in, and that was the way I was, man. And right, wrong, or indifferent. Like when I was a first sergeant, man, best fucking company in the brigade, and you can ask our fucking brigade sergeant major. When I was a fucking sergeant major, best fucking battalion in the fucking division because we were fucking disciplined. Like Rucker was my brigade sergeant major when we did clean sweep the first time. He brought the division sergeant major to one battalion, mine, because the rest of them were fucked up. And I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, but the thing is like, you could see it. Like, that's why, like, guys like me and Cavazos and all, like, when we were tired, man, we were fucking tired of the Army, tired of the bullshit. Like, I was told numerous times by senior officers that I was too abrasive. And I'm like, no, sir, I'm a fucking goddamn command sergeant major in 82nd Airborne Division. My job is to not be their friend. My job is to make sure they know their fucking job and do what they got to fucking do. I said, now, do you think I'm yelling at privates like this? No. If I see a Joe, I'm like, hey, Airborne, how you doing, buddy? What's going on? If he's fucked up, I'm going to be like, hey, man, why's whatever. Why is it fucked up? Sergeant Major? Well, we don't do that, this, this. Okay. Roger. Hey, how'd you married? What's your wife, kids? Doing whatever, right? And then when he walks off, I go crush his fucking platoon sergeant because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I would explain to those officers. I'm like, dude, the problem is like, even in the Sergeant Major Academy, when I went in 2011, and I know when you went, you saw it too. They're trying to fucking mold us into being fucking like officers. And it's like, dude, no.
Yeah, they're trying to do the career path same way.
Yeah, and it's like, no, man, because here's the reason why. Because I don't care. Like, I love all my officer brothers. I do, like, you know, the deal. We're brothers, man. And I don't believe there's NCO officer business. But what I will tell you is a command sergeant major and a lieutenant colonel, the how would you say it? The intimacy of a conversation with a soldier is night and day, if that makes sense to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that commander has never been a door kicker. That commander has never been a private, a commander, unless he was prior service. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, mine was.
But I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like I had commander, like when I had a great company commander, man. He's about to be the 75th regimental commander. And like he told me, he's like, First Sergeant, how do I learn how to talk to guys like you do? I'm like, I know how to talk to them, sir, because I am them.
Yeah.
I grew up as them. Like, they're me. They're gonna be me one day, the ones that stay in. And then you see Colonel Jones, the stiffy officer over there, that's gonna be you one day if you're not careful. That's what I tell them, you know, like, you know, but like
I'll tell you, Mac. I tell you, I hate to interrupt, but I tell you,
No,
but I think too, man, like reason I got out too, man, because I was more kind of disappointed in my peers, and they're probably gonna
that's really
right. So it's not about, to me, when I got out, I saw a lot of sergeant majors, man, that are like they're just social media guys now. They want to be, you know, this little bit about like it's about this rank on your chest that kind of makes you the king of the castle. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I think it kind of jades them what they need to do. Like you got to be a little bit, you got to have some humility. You got to be, you know, you got to be able to talk to them. And if you can, you know, sometimes you don't have to yell, but hey man, you fucking suck. And they're like, oh shit, Sergeant Major said I suck. He didn't yell at me, but he said he fucking sucked, right?
No, but like, yeah, as a sergeant major, like I asked Flowers for advice when I was becoming a CSM, and he was like, you can't be the asshole you were as a first sergeant.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I didn't understand. He's like, basically, what you want is when you walk around, you boys want to see you. They want to see the sergeant major because the sergeant major is going to tell them what's up, tell them what's going on, pick their brain, see what's going on and all that shit. And that's what I did. And, you know, like he did, just like you're supposed to. Like I said, man, if I caught a private fucked up, I wouldn't crush him like I would, you know. Like I just tell them, you know, why did we not do this? And you tell them how to fix it. And then we get airborne, take care, you know, blah, blah, blah. Then I go right up to my fucking office and call his fucking platoon or call his first sergeant and say, hey, send fucking such from fucking whatever platoon down here. And I wouldn't even tell him what guy it was. I would just fucking tell him, you know, be like, I saw this deficiency from somebody in your fucking platoon. Do I need to do your fucking job for you? You know, that'd be one guy, or the other guy you have to sit there and explain to him what to do. But my point is what I saw towards the end of my career. Now, I made a post about this the other day. Is so many senior leaders. Well, I'd say I don't know if it's culture or what, but there's like this. It's almost like they want to be popular. They want to be liked.
Yeah, like, I agree. That's what I said earlier. Yeah, I think they're also, because I tell you, Mac, at the end of me and Chris's time, you know, social media. Well, we went through COVID, so we were.
Oh, I couldn't imagine,
COVID
dude.
Too. And you know, there was you know, social media started popping off, and like Joe started making meme pages and shit. Like, and I didn't care about all that stuff. Like sometimes you're happy to make that stuff, right?
But how are you going to even stop that though? You know what I mean?
But I think people get so wild, riled up on that stuff, and they're afraid my name's going to be on this page, right? So I don't know, man. You can't be afraid to lead, dude. Like you're gonna make mistakes. You just gotta fucking do it. If you're in the right, you're in the right, man. And you know, if your gut's telling you, hey, this is what I got to do, got to do it. Don't be afraid to do something based off that. But
Well,
Chris was actually pretty good at holding officers to standards too, man. I got to give props.
So if I can
yeah.
real quick, I do want to jump in on your previous point, Mac, about kind of the delineation of duties and responsibilities between the officer and the NCO.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times it's kind of I would when it comes to the standards enforcer and who's the vocal person, that's got to be a give and take between you and your counterpart, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of times that will fall onto the NCO, just by virtue of the fact that you will almost always, until you get to the battalion level, have more experience than I will.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'll give you a quick example. I will tell you that's not always the case. So my second command in the 173rd, first command, like I said before, that was Destin Company, Delta Company, 253rd in Kunai River Valley. Got back about 6 months later. I take over Chosen Company, Charlie 253rd, who had just had a fucking horrific deployment in 0708. And the battalion commander at the time was like, Chris, you're the only company commander I got left. And I don't mean to downplay myself, but it's like, Chris, you're the only company commander I've got left that's already got a 173rd combat patch. So I want you to go into Chosen Company. I'm like, sir, I'm your man. I'll do it. So I go in there, and one of the best technically proficient senior NCOs that I've ever had, a guy by the name of First Sergeant Shane Sport. And we kind of clicked mentally, and it was towards the end of our time together. We're deployed now in 09-10. I'm getting ready to give up command, and we're doing that old thing where we're kind of reminiscing now, and we're looking at each other as buddies and stuff instead of Commander First Sergeant. And he looks at me, he's like, sir, did you ever realize that in our relationship you were the one that got into the soldiers' asses? I'm like, and Jerry, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, me? He's like, yeah. Like, no, you got to be mistaken. He's like, no. Like, we had our first, and we were that company that had all the DUIs and caused everybody to get back in, right? I mean, it was a running joke. It was horrible. We ended up chaptering like 12 people out in 10 months. Because it just got so bad in that company that like a cancer had kind of built in there.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, sir. Like, and the guys respected you for it. So please don't take me wrong. But when you took that role, I then fell into the other role of let me go behind and pick everybody up and tell them how good they're doing and how proud of you the boss is. Right. That he's only doing that. And it's not that I was a screamer or yeller. I'd never been a screamer or yeller. One of my in-brief things is this right here. This is what you see. This is who I am 24/7. I yell to be heard, not to make a point unless I have to.
You're not a spotlight ranger.
Right. And it's just specific circumstances that we end up falling into. It's just that y'all have that referential authority, because 90% of our formation is made up of future yous, not me's.
Yeah.
So they look up to you guys. Exactly. They look up to you guys as this is what right should look like.
But with that, before I forget, where the senior NCO Corps a lot of times fucks up is that especially back in the day, that young PL would come in, that platoon sergeant be like, hey, sir, sit the fuck over there. You don't do shit back here until it's time to go to the field. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
And that was, I was taught different than that. I was taught, hey, your job is to make him a company commander, you know? And then when you're a first sergeant, your job is to make him a fucking battalion commander.
It's because y'all had Jack Love, man.
Like, well, dude, I'll tell you this. He was my, I think it was my third commander, but we wound up doing, I think we did like almost 2 years together. Yeah. But Armstrong, when he came in to see me in the 82nd to take over. Like he was doing his pre-command inventories and all that shit, right? I was the first sergeant. It's like 1900. He walks up to my office. It's the old hammerheads, knocks on the door. Is like, "Hey, first sergeant, I'm a captain. You know, Captain Marshall here." I was like, "Hey, sir, before you fucking talk to me, go get a fucking haircut." And that's all I said to him. And I went back down to doing what I was doing. And he went and got a haircut. And then he came back and talked. He's like, "This good, first sergeant?" I was like, "Yep, Roger." And I was like, "It's gonna be a good dude." And then I sat down and talked to him. And I was like, "Hey, sir, perception's reality, and you're not in fucking 2ID anymore. Like that big hair, that shit don't go here." You know, and he understood totally. Like he was like, and he was a guy that was like you. He's a leader. Like if he saw a guy fucked up, once he knew what right, he would fucking crush him for it. Mm-hmm. And that's what made me like, I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." You know, because like there's so many officers, and I hate this, but y'all know the deal. There's so many young officers that use well, I don't know shit. Like, motherfucker, shut the fuck up. Like, come on, you're a college educated dude. Get the fuck out of here. Come on.
Me and Chris, we had some guys that we struggled to when we were battalion command team. And, the question I was always asking Mac, I would walk up to him and I was like, and I know he's having issues. Like, hey, so I was like, who, what was the relationship with your platoon sergeant? Because I was like, I'm curious because I like, is this where this started? It's like, So I think you're absolutely right. I think, these young platoon sergeants these days don't understand how much how much, I wouldn't say power, but how much the mentorship that they have for these young lieutenants, because you're either going to make an NCO supporter or you're going to make an NCO hater, so you have that ability to do that, man. So
dude, I was going to say the other thing, is I always made sure my NCOs understood is like even when I was a sergeant major, like for example, I just got there. One of the first sergeants comes in and I was like, "Hey, why the fuck is this going on? This and this or whatever." And he said, "Well, my commander said so, sergeant major." Oh, fucking, that was one of the worst days probably of his fucking career. Because I pulled him in my office. I was like, "So you're going to fucking throw your commander under the bus? You're not a fucking commander. This ain't your fucking company. Like, so you don't run shit with him? Like, he just tells you what to fucking do. And you just like, you tell the guys, hey, the commander said we got to do it. That's why we're doing it. Is that what we fucking do?" I was like, "That's not how we fucking operate, Hey,
you own it, man. Own it, because I hate it too. I hate it when someone's like, hey, and it's a bad decision. Because for us, you being the command team, like we said this the other day, usually guys in your battalion don't know anything else about the Army. They look at the battalion commander and battalion sergeant major as the Army, right? So they don't look at it as anything past. So like, there's young leaders like, "Hey man, you need to put your iPro on because sergeant major said so." I was like, own it. Hey, put your fucking iPro on, bro. Don't go back and blame someone else and use something.
But that's it. But see that's where all guys that do that stems from their first fucking squad leader in the Army, straight up.
Yeah,
straight up, because he didn't fucking train them.
Yeah,
because I don't give a fuck. All you got to do is say, "Hey, motherfucker, like this is how you do shit." Obviously you don't say motherfucker. You say, I did get the day I made sergeant, I got counseled for verbal abuse. So I remember that. I learned a lot that day when I was younger. But I will tell you this too, is like, for example, I do, calls with guys like my old company commander's been on a couple calls with some of the guys from OAF 1, right? And he's talking about like when I was a squad leader, just like, "Mac, when you were a squad leader, man, you were that silent fucking professional." And the guy's like, "Officer such and such, like, Mac, when you were that silent professional, man. I never heard you yell, none of that shit." And I'm like, "Sir, why would I in front of you? Like guys that do that shit, then what do you think? They're all fucked up, right?" I was like, "When you come around and you see my boys, are they squared away? Yeah. All right. That's what we're doing." And the other thing is, I got a loud mouth and shit, but I also, as a, I'll tell anybody anything now because I'm fucking retired. I don't give a fuck. But, when I was in, there's a time to speak. There's a time not to speak. But there's also times when there's nothing in your being that can stop you from speaking. And that's candor. And what I think is where a lot of young NCOs fail is they don't understand what ownership is and how that feeds into candor and honor and dignity and all that shit, because all it is just tell the fucking truth, man. No matter what's going on, tell the fucking truth.
And just be yourself,
I-
dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to take this down to a metaphysical, deeper, whatever level, but I got to ask,
Oh, we can go
because
deep as fuck.
well, okay
Yeah.
then.
No, I'm just kidding.
But no, like, do either one of y'all think, because I know I've got my own opinions, this is a byproduct of like recent generations? Because you think about it, when were you born, Max?
I was born in 73.
When were you born, Jerry?
73, just like Mac.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm the young buck. I was 77, but there's a big difference there. We were all born in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Which means we grew up in the 80s and the 90s, really. And so we had physical confrontations growing up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we had to get our asses kicked or we had to beat somebody else's ass to be able to do this, but physical confrontation was not necessarily a deal for us. It was just a way of life.
Yeah.
That is not the way it is now. So when somebody comes at you and says, "Hey, Sergeant Mac, you will enforce this policy," everybody will wear PPE. Then you turn around nowadays and it's, well, the boss said we got to wear PPE. Put your
Yeah.
PPE on,
And
right?
then right
Whereas,
there,
Mac's on Instagram under a meme.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then right there,
Right.
but right there is where, and I tell all these young guys, and a lot of them, you know, they got out of the Army now. Like I tell them, I'm like, right there is where you fail, and one day you'll realize it.
Yeah.
You know, because the Army gives you this rank for a reason. The rank you're wearing is for you to use it to enforce standards and discipline, but that rank you're wearing is because you have the potential to move to the next one. And we're putting you there because we know you can step up. And the problem is too, I've seen is a lot of even senior leaders, like even dude, when I was still a CSM in 14 to 16 or whatever, I had first sergeants that had no clue how to talk to guys about reenlistment because they never had to. Like it was just, it blew my mind how, because I could sit down, I could take 30 dudes in a room and all of them will be getting out. And by the time we're done, over half that room's re-enlisted, because I know what I'm doing. I know how to talk to them. I know, like, one of the first things you do when you're talking to your soldiers, hey man, who's getting out because their wife wants them to, or their spouse? Yeah, I was too, but I'm still fucking here. Now let's talk to you. All right. And then, you keep, but like I told my first sergeant, I was like, I don't give a fuck if there's an Army mission. Every dude that's in the window to re-enlist, you're going to sit down and talk with them. And if they're a piece of shit, I want you to sit down and talk with them and tell them why you're not asking them to re-enlist. But if they are a good guy, I want you to sit down and talk with them and explain to them what the Army does for them daily and what it can do, and then see what they're planning on doing when they get out. Because 99.9% of the time, it's either I'm going to school or I'm going to be a cop or a game warden or something like that. And then the first question you got to ask is, have you been accepted at university, or are you on any waiting list for Border Patrol or the cops or anything? No. Oh, I didn't know there's a waiting list, Sergeant Major or First Sergeant. Yeah, let's pull this up. Like it's. But that's the thing, man. Is like for example, and maybe I learned that as a really young age because, like, for example, when I was marrying my wife, in 93, we my squad leader told my platoon sergeant Sergeant Legio, now retired Sergeant Major Legio, the Ranger Regiment guy. I swear to God, he sit down with me, and I was like 19, 20, for 3 hours after work and told me how bad his marriage sucked and explained to me what marriage was and everything else. And then when I told him I still want to get ready, he's like, you're ready, Matahuna. I don't even know what that means because he's a Guamanian dude, but he was like, you're ready. But to me as a young kid, I was like, that old dude just sit down with me for 3 hours and he's trying to talk me how to get married. And I know it's because he thinks I'm making a mistake, but I really do know I'm not making a mistake. But in my mind, I was like, that dude gives a fuck,
Yeah.
And and I don't know, you guys will probably get it more now that, especially you, Jerry, now that you're retired, but like, I've had so many guys I run into over the years, or I talk to on Instagram or on different shit, and they're like, "Hey, sorry, man, you remember that time you scuffed me up for this, this, and this? That changed my whole fucking trajectory."
No.
And you know what I tell him? I'm like, "No, dude, I don't remember that." I was like,
Yeah,
"Let me guess. I yelled
I
at
had-
you, saw you, it was all good, and it was over." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's it."
I think you're right too, man, because those little small touch points, you don't think they matter. Like,
Yeah.
I think I had one of our polar bears, man. He texted me. He's like, "Hey, we were in the field one time, and I think like Chris and I were sitting in our vehicles. It was like I don't know what we were doing. It's a long night or whatever. So I walked out to the guys that were on pulling security or whatever. I sat down and talked to one of them, right? And I didn't think in the time I was like, this is me having a conversation with one of the Joes, man. But he kind of they messaged me back, said, "Hey, that night you kind of sat down and took your time to talk to me and listen to what I had to say." And I didn't realize that it meant that much, but you got to do that, man. But I tell you, dude, I think we don't want to stay on this too long, but I know our first sergeants, man, and especially me growing up. When did you go to sergeant? You went to Sergeant Major Academy what year?
In 2011.
Yeah, I went in 17. So growing up in the out of admin requirements that our first sergeants and platoon sergeants had to do, man, was.
I mean, we still had a shit load when I was in. I don't know if it's still.
Oh, it's even worse when we were command teams. It's like, dude, because I remember as a first sergeant, 82nd, man, I'm looking at like med pros and dental and doing all these things to make sure the guys get do what they got to do, jump logs, all shit. But the amount of stuff that they had the Army put on these guys, it's just like, dude, you got to cut back on some of the 350-1 shit because it just doesn't make sense.
All that shit is check the block, cover your ass type shit.
Yeah.
There's important shit in the Army that needs to be done, but what was that? The old, I don't even remember what you called the shit. I know the med pros and all that shit, but yeah, dude, that's it. I feel the same way about all that shit, man. It's wild.
How long were you a platoon sergeant in the 82nd?
For 2 years, 24
And then
months.
how long were you as a first sergeant?
36.
Damn.
Yeah, I did. So when we were in the Arghandab, me and Armstrong were both going to move. I was taking HAC Brigade and he was taking HAC, the battalion. But 2101 came in, and I think it was Colonel Kandarian was a commander. He told Colonel Jones at that time, because then they took over as our brigade headquarters. We still had a month and a half in country. And he was like, "No fucking way you're moving those two out of there." So we got to stay, throughout the entire deployment. So that's how I got to finish so I did 36 months in one fucking company as first sergeant, which was fucking awesome.
They don't do that shit anymore.
And, 2 deployments in the same company as a first sergeant.
24 months, you can move.
And then, and dude, I tell everybody, man, and I mean, and I'm the Arghandab 2009-10, I can't even, I could sit here and tell you about it all day long, but you could never fathom it, dude. It was something that you train for, you think about, you're is this really going to happen when you do the go to war thing? You know how you give you guys a speech and all that shit. And then you end up in a place where you're having to lead hundreds of paratroopers through some of the shittiest terrain on earth, kind of almost, except for it's not a real jungle, but the valleys look like jungles when they get all green and shit with the fucking orchards and then the cobras, everything else. But yeah, dude, just you know what? Out of all my shit, let's talk about the Arghandab real quick, because I just tell you. Imagine this. So think this. I deployed
for our listeners, real quick, Mac. Paint a picture for us. So you got looking at Afghanistan, you got the Korengal and all of that everybody's heard about. That's over on the eastern side of Pakistan.
Yeah.
Kind of the south.
Yeah. South, you got Kandahar, you got we were even south of that. My company, when we first deployed, we were in Helmand with the Brits for the operation going down there, and we had some Marines with us. But anyway, so 2007-8, I was Bravo Company First Sergeant we were in Ghazni,
Did you have Reggie Fox with you?
Fox came in after that deployment, and I brought him in, and made him one of my platoon sergeants.
Okay.
Because he came and talked to me.
Yeah.
He was in the Dob with me as one of my platoon sergeants.
Yeah.
But we came back, from the Ghazni deployment. Firefights, but not much. You guys know how RC East is, especially when it gets cold.
Yeah.
And we got back, and and we were immediately on the patch chart. Y'all know all that shit went back then, and we were on the patch chart to go to Iraq, because Iraq was, all the shit that was going on, and then I think like 90 days, however far out, they changed mission, and then the brigade was going to Afghanistan to be an advise and assist brigade, which back then we were like, what the fuck, come on, ain't that like what MTTs and all? But anyway, so we found out that's what we were doing. We went down to JRTC, did the JRTC deployment. Our battalion was tasked with sending one company early to go down to Helmand, because all the shit that was going on in Helmand in September of 2009, September, October, November timeframe. So we
do you remember what base you went to in Helmand? Was it
Lashkar Gah.
Okay.
We were Lashkar Gah, and then I had Reggie's platoon I put down with the Marines at Fob Nawa, Fire Base Nawa, and then we had some guys. There was this place. It was an old Afghan police training facility or some shit. But now we went to Helmand. Like the rest of the brigade went to, I think, Kandahar, to CAF, and they were doing advise and assist. And then we got sent down there. We were doing kinetic shit with the Brits and the Marines, and then I want to say it was November. The colonel and sergeant major came down south to see us. They had to drive like 100 and something K to get down there, and they pulled me in the CO into the TOC, and then started talking to us about the Arghandab, and the unit that was in there before us was 117 infantry. They were strikers, and they got fucked up, man.
Yeah, I've heard about that deployment.
Yeah. I'm not saying nothing bad about them, because I don't know anything about the unit. I just know they took a lot of casualties, man. And it's, but so we start talking, and then Colonel Genio looks at me and he's like, "Mac, this is the one, dude." I was like, "What do you mean, sir?" He's like, "This is a fucking meat grinder." He's like, "We're sending you guys because y'all are the ones that can fucking handle it." Like, we were the main effort for the fucking battalion when we went into. Like, we did a full battalion push, to clear in the Arghandab. So basically let me get back. So came down to Lashkar Gah, November, told us what was going on. And then I think we left Lash like the end of November, and then went to I think it was Fob Walton in Kandahar, or outside of Kandahar somewhere. I don't know where it was at. And then we got to Fob Walton. We linked up the rest of the battalion. We did all our planning and everything else. We went and did a left seat, right seat ride with the 117, but it really wasn't one, because those guys were not going back into the valley. So we kind of went up on the mountains and looked, which after being in there, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it was kind of a dick move, Yeah. But anyway, so, we go out left seat, right seat ride. I'm up on the side of a mountain. Like, the first thing we're out there, me and the CO are looking, trying to figure out, once we clear in here, where can we set up a cop? Because they didn't have anything in the valley. Everything was up OCTD, here, there.
Yeah.
There was like some old ruins and shit. And I was like, "I don't know about that, sir." As soon as we were talking, like fucking one of the Kiowas took an RPG. Like, I was like, "Yep, we're in it now, sir." And then it missed them. But so anyway, we did the left seat, right seat ride, and just looking at the terrain, and then talking to some of those guys and seeing 1,000-yard stare. And then, we actually kind of, like, I did, and my CO actually kind of pulled the history of Afghanistan. And, I didn't even know that after the Korangal, I think the Arghandab is the only other valley that hasn't been like owned by any foreign forces. And I mean, we own that bitch, but it was at a heavy cost. So anyway,
Can I ask a question, Max? So
Yeah.
how do like it's Chris too, because you both fought in these shitty ass areas. How do you guys prepare like your soldiers to go into something like that? Like how do you obviously they know they're not stupid, right? So like how do you guys as leaders like tell us to tell the why, hey man, we're going in the fucking meat grinder. Like we're going to the corn guard, we're going in this. And I know there's a lot of motivation because they want to do that stuff, but there's also a lot of like the fuck are we doing kind of thing. So how do you guys do that? How do you prepare your soldiers? This is a question I know that would come off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about prepare. I know.
I say mentally, like prepare mentally.
Yeah.
How do you get them mentally prepared for something like that?
Well, dude, for that one, like, like I said, my second deployment is first sergeant. That one, we pulled all the guys. I think it was about 18 hours before we left, and then we make them all rack out. And then we were gacking to a drop-off point on Highway 1, and then we're walking into the valley. But no, I obviously I don't remember what I said to them or anything like that. But I got some guys that you guys could have on the show. Y'all would love. They would tell you probably the shit I said better than I did.
Yeah.
For me, what I wanted all of them to understand was that, like, look, this is going to be like everything that we train for, this is the fucking Super Bowl, man. This is it. And I told all those guys, like, I've talked to my platoons and company, all the bullshit and all the shit in Iraq and everything. But that one, I told them, I was like, look, we're going in with the battalion's pulling outside the river. We're staying. And it's going to be rough. I was like, it might not be rough the first couple of weeks because it's fucking cold, but it's going to be fucking rough. And the other piece to it is well, let me get back. So I guess how to answer the question is, how do you prepare for something like that? Is I just looked deep in my soul and I was like, what can I do to let these guys know that, hey, this is what we do. This is what we're prepared for. And that me and my buddy right beside me are there 100% of the way, every step of the way, and I think
you just got to tell them the truth.
Yeah. You got to be honest.
Yeah.
And you got to be like, I'm sure I told them, like, we're going to fucking lose dudes, man. And I even told them, I was like, y'all know all the combat experience I've got. I've been shot at so many fucking times. I was like, I don't even want to fucking go here. Yeah. Like, I was honest with them. I was like, but this is what we fucking do. And then, so imagine this. You're an infantry unit trained for the infantry fight. You're trained for the kinetic fight. You're used to the force on force. Like, I got fucked up with an IED in OF1, which that if I would have got shot, I don't think it would have fucked me up as bad because it was, hey, I had a fighting chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine, this is why I tell guys, like, especially as a leader, like, I've been in some shitty situations, but when you're pushing guys out every day and there's no, like, so put it this way, guys are going out on patrol because you have to dominate this terrain and you got to clear it, but they're getting hit, but there's no bad guys, and as we learn the TTPs, they get better, and then we get better, and then they get better. Like, we fought a 100% infantry fight for that year. And those guys, my old commander wrote down, like, he kept a log through all of our super stuff and everything. How many miles we walked? It was thousands, dude. Those kids walked in that valley. And dig this. We found, and I'm not going to have the number right, but over 90 dismounted IEDs. So we found over 90 throughout our deployment, and we had 26 strikes. And most of those strikes were in the spring when everything first started and we were learning the shit. But, when you talk about preparing guys for stuff like that, like, it's what's even more important is how do you keep them in that fight?
Yeah.
How do
how do you keep them going out the wire every day?
Yeah. Because you're like, I'm going to get fucked up. So let me, Chris didn't answer real quick. I'll let him answer. I'm sorry, man.
No, you're good. There was no rah-rah speech, especially on either one of them. Probably more so on the second time we went to Kunar. The first time, I would argue. So when I went the first time, I started off on brigade staff. I was not in command when we deployed. I took command 8 months into a 15-month deployment, and so I commanded the last 8-ish months really.
Well, that was like
with
me
that.
on my first arm deployment. I came in late.
Yeah. And so with that one, arguably we were not ready. And I don't mean any disrespect to the 173rd or 2503rd or anything like that. But we did not understand the fight that we were walking into in the Korengal and Kunar and Nuristan and all of that. But we learned, and we learned through blood, sweat, tears, and a whole lot of fucking pain. So that you're coming back the next time. That was, looking back, doing some self-reflection and, on the spot, really, that's probably one of the reasons why I was so vocal as a company commander the second time, because I knew where we were going. Much like you, the first time I went to Afghanistan with the 173rd, we were supposed to go to Iraq. And January, we had cut the order for Iraq. April, we found out we're going to Afghanistan. July, main body one is on the ground, kind of thing. I deployed early, so I was actually there in April. But we just didn't know. And coming back from that, and at some point, Jerry, and if you're interested, Mac, I highly encourage you to listen. We'll have a good buddy of mine, Warrant Officer 3 Phillips, CW3 Phillips, will be on here at some point. He was in chosen company the first time as a mortarman. Went up to battalion a little bit when we redeployed, and then I brought him back down to be a platoon sergeant in chosen company, working with our battalion CSM. I got him back down, and so he deployed under me in the second time. And he'll probably tell you this. I don't think I once stood up and said, "Hey guys, this is going to be the fucking shittiest deployment," or "Hey, we're going to go fucking kill them all," or anything like that. It was very much actions lead to words, right? You will understand why I am being so hard on you, why First Sergeant is being so hard on you, because I can't begin to describe the environment that you're about to walk into.
Yeah, because like I said earlier in the thing, you have those blinders on, but you guys see the big picture and you understand. But dude, let me go back to the Arghandab. So we go out December 19th, 2009, conduct a clearance operation, battalion clearance. We figure out a spot to set up a cop. It's just a little radish field. It only had like a wall kind of around it. So we get out there, and then once we get everything clear, get the company CP up, battalion commander comes in, and I think the battalion, it was like a 72-hour op or something before they were rolling back to Walton and then pushing. And we had already pushed the platoon outside of the Dob too. I forgot to say that. We had a first platoon at a cop. We called it Johnston later, but it was in a little town called Morgan, I think, which is right off of Highway 1. But they walked in with us, but we put them out there as kind of had them operating out there to kind of get a feel for what was going on in the valley, if that makes sense to you. But so we go out, do the clearance, and then the reason I really want to talk about this is because, like I said, I went to the Sergeant Major Academy after this deployment, and it literally blew my mind how many senior NCOs had like had the experience that I had. There were very few. I know I didn't say that right, but like I had, you know, like for example, 3 infantry guys in my small group, awesome dudes, but not, you know, it was different. And at the same time, I'm coming off of something like that. So it was like, you know, and the reason I'm about to get to it, because, you know, in the Sergeant Major Academy, you got to do the job planning and all that shit. And then you got to, you know, people were talking about porta potties and all that shit. I was like, man, I never had a porta potty on that. Well, I was like, I take that back towards the end of my first deployment. I was like, we burned shit my last deployment.
Yeah.
Infantry dudes are like, man, we don't burn shit no more. Like literally. Yeah. I'm like, motherfucker. Yeah.
Yes, we do.
So anyway, let me get back to this. So this is December 2009, December 19th, 2009. By that point, every Humvee in Afghanistan was outlawed. You couldn't use them. You remember that, sir? When the commander said, because everybody in the back seats was getting blown up.
Yep.
Nobody could use Humvees anymore. So I had all my shit at 5 Walton stage that we took down from Lashkar Gah, like all my company shit, and then we had extra shit. And I even had 2 big British 60K generators that we took from Lash, because you know, it was like, fuck, we need generators. So we're in the Dob. I'm talking to the commander. I'm talking to, I want to say it was Brigade S4, somebody else, me and the commander, and they were like, hey man, we thought we were going to get, because we literally thought we had fucking CBs coming in and all this shit, you know, once we got it clear, nobody would come in. We couldn't even get aircraft at first. So I had to build a cop, right, in the middle of this valley. Literally, the only way in and out, there's one lock, one little road.
Yeah.
And it was so small that you couldn't, you know, I didn't think you could get a PLS or anything down it, you know. So anyway, I told the battalion commander, I was like, well, if we got to do this internally as a fucking company, then I need every fucking Humvee you got at Walton, and I need somebody to fucking tell us we could use them in their fucking trailers. And he's like, well, first off, y'all can't use. I was like, how the fuck else am I going to get my shit out here, sir? I was like, you going to fucking carry it on your back? Like, so I even pulled, it was First Sergeant Brisley was the FSC First Sergeant. When we were, when I actually went back to Walton. I remember now, because I did. I went back to Walton. I grabbed First Sergeant Brisley. I was like, hey, can a wrecker pick up a fucking 60K generator? He's like, yeah. I was like, give me one of your wreckers and your dudes, man. He's like, all right. So I had the wrecker dude put the 2 60K generators, one on the back of each fucking Humvee trailer. And the tires looked so flat, it was unreal, right? So that's dangerous as fuck to start with.
Yeah.
So we carried like all of our HESCOs, everything we carried in by hand on Humvees. And to get everything in was a constant I'll get Fox on here, he'll tell you, because he was up with me, just constant turn and burn, walking down the lot, clearing it, turn and burn, walking down the lot, clearing it. Oh, at the same time, I got guys doing fucking, I got guys in fucking set up in overwatch positions. I got guys doing patrols, all the shit. And so we get out there, right? And it's so muddy. Like I said, it's a radish field. It's December. It's rainy. It's wet. Pull the Humvee up, fucking sinks in the mud. Trailer sunk in the mud with the first generator. I was like, pull the other one up as close as you can to him. We'll build around it. We built around that bitch. They stayed like that the entire fucking deployment.
Smart.
I had HESCOs that my guys put up, that we put up ourselves with no dirt for 3 months.
Yeah.
Like I had no way to feel them at all. We had the huge HESCOs, right?
Yeah.
And I told the commander, I was like, well, we're putting them up, so at least we'll have some fucking concealment. And I was like, if we ever get aircraft in here, they're going to fucking blow them down, but I don't know what else to fucking do, sir. So we set up the HESCOs. I had guys stake them down because of the wind and shit. And then, you know, I know the boys were like, what the fuck? You know, and then I remember, so we did that. And then we got the HESCOs, got them put in, got the generators, got it all set up. And then imagine this. You got to grab your boys and you're like, hey, man, y'all see all this shit? all these rows where the fucking radishes are, I need y'all to fucking level that shit out. Grab your fucking e-tools. And like dudes were like, yeah, I know they're like, what the fuck? But they did it. You know, all the guys, like, dude, I'm telling you, I could sit here and talk about it for hours, the experience that was, but like, you know, for 2009-10 to be in a situation like that where you got literally no support whatsoever was almost unheard of. You know what I mean? Like we literally had nothing from anybody. Like no, we finally got the aircraft, and I take that back. We had 82nd Cab would fly with us, you know, the Kiowas, but no cargo aircraft would come in. Task Force Kandahar wouldn't send anybody in. Finally, we told them we had it cleared out enough, and that if they brought aircraft in, I would push an element out to clear field, and they could land there. So one of the first things they bring in a fucking log pack for me, right? A fucking 500-gallon fuel blivet. How the fuck am I gonna get it into the cop? Right? So I had to tell the dudes, I'm like, hey, grab as many bubbles as you can. We're pushing this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right. And then, yeah, so it was shit like that we're dealing with. Right. And then, you know, at the same time, you got your guys doing all this. They're putting up tents. They're fucking burning shit, patrolling. Yeah. There's no towers, you know, you're just doing what you got to do and everything else. And I do remember, I think Yeski put it in his book, but I want to say it was like our 4th or 5th day in the Dob, and it was like 04 in the morning. And I told the commander, I was like, I'm waking everybody up and I'm being the fucking asshole. Like, because dudes were getting tired. I could see it. And I just fucking I went straight up old school. I was like, look, motherfuckers. I said, this is what we have.
Yeah.
We live here. All right. We got to secure this and we got to fucking live here. So it ain't going to just fucking happen. We're going to fucking do it. You know, I gave them a big, but I have guys now like, dude, you see the shit we do with that company, those kids, man.
Hey, what was the book you just mentioned?
Oh, one of the kids in First Platoon wrote a book called Damn the Valley.
Damn the Valley.
He actually did a really good job with it, William Yeski.
Okay.
There's another one called Bravo Company that a Wall Street Reporter did, and it talks about the deployment, but it's more kind of a vignette type. It's got a couple of wounded guys' stories, but it's more about. He did a good job of kind of showing the relationship between how train up happens, and you know how you train up and then you deploy, and then what happens after deployment. Yeah, he did a good job with the book. Just it's not a combat. It's not war stories and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the Damn the Valley was written firsthand from Yeski. He was the RTO for First Platoon, and when he sent me the manuscript, like it took everything I had to read it, man, because I'm still fucked up from that deployment. Like, but
Mac, are these the same guys? Because I see you actively on your social media. Like you do a lot of reunions and stuff. Is that the same group?
Yeah.
Like you guys.
I try to get them together as much as we can, man.
Yeah. It seems like you're still tight going through all that shit. Like
Jared, the one missing his right arm.
Yeah.
He jokes because you know I'll smoke weed with him now that I'm retired. You know, and he's like he'll tell everybody, he's like, First Sergeant busted me for spice when I was in the Army. You know, but no, man, like when I was still in, like I'll tell you after the Arghandab, like I could talk about that. There's, you know, let's put it this way, man. Those kids had to fight a ghost for a fucking year, and if you've never been a guy that has to leave the wire, knowing like, you know, like in Iraq, we knew, you know, when you went out of the wire, you were like, it's 50-50, man. You know, but you know how it was like with you guys, Kunar, it's like somebody's getting hit. Like every time you go out the wire, something's gonna fucking happen. You know, and you know, for me being the first sergeant, you know, I guess I did good, but I also did bad. Like, you know, I was out a lot with the guys, but at the same time, like I've told some of the guys, I could have did a lot better for them if I would have been at the top, you know, doing, you know, shit like that. But we talk about those things. And, but what I'll tell you is being able to read Yeski's book, and like the stuff he talks about with me, with one of the kids with a beard, I wouldn't let him wear a uniform because he had a shaving profile, and the sergeant major got onto me for that and shit like that. That's in the book. I don't know if it's 100% accurate how he put it, but the best thing for me about that was the fact that I was able to read this and see this and actually see the Arghandab through my soldier's eyes. Because our vision, the way we see that shit's night and day, man. You know what I mean? They're seeing what's in front of them. We're seeing what's in front of us, but you know, and to be able to read them talking about, you know, the shit that they went through and the struggles and the hell, and for none of them to like, you know, I guess how can I say this? Like when I was in the Army, like after the DOB, after 2010, you know, when I went to the academy and all, I used the Army, the mission as an excuse not to re-engage with those guys because it was easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And what I tell guys now, man, is one of the best things that I did when I got out of the Army was re-engaging with those guys and fucking having them say thank you. You know, like I tell guys, I'm like, dude, you don't have to be the best leader, but if you were there every day and you had the right intentions, those boys knew that you had integrity and that everything you did because you thought it was what needed to be done. You're a fucking human. If you're that guy, they're going to love you, man. And they want you to be back in their life. And the problem is it's not them, it's us. We don't know how to re-engage, you know, and it's hard because like when we did our first reunion, man, I was terrified because I thought these guys were going to fucking hate me, man. Like, you know, because you're the guys pushing, you know, I got 11 fucking amputees. I got, you know, you know, what you learn from guys, you know, especially as time goes, is like they're not that private they were anymore. They grew up, you know, and they understand things better now. And that's why I tell guys, I'm like, and even if they are pissed off at you, let them go off a little bit and then explain to them what happened. Like I had a couple guys, I'm telling you, man, like literally, like, I'm not mad for Sergeant. I just want to really know what happened. Like, can you tell me what happened? And I even would throw in, you know, a disclaimer with that. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you what happened based off of what I can remember now. And I'm sure it's, you know, not near what really happened, but, you know, and that's the thing, like,
I mean, they suffered for, what was it, a year? Like, just
man, I mean,
together. They suffered together.
And you're fighting a fucking ghost. They didn't get,
you know, I mean, shit. I think as they get older, they start to appreciate some of that stuff, man. Like, damn, we went through some hard shit.
Well, yeah, like they all now know, like that company knows that there are very few companies, you know, like one like yours, sir. I mean, when you look at the history of this war, like there are very few companies that were really in that. I don't know if you guys know this. You probably do, sir. But I didn't know this until I retired, and, you know, I did all the shit with the nonprofit and all. But the VA actually flags units. They actually keep records of like Purple Hearts and shit like that because it's like a historical thing.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you know, when you start doing your VA shit, they might know you. Like they literally, I'm not kidding. It's wild.
Yeah.
But you know, I tell guys, man, these guys talk about like, you're like first sergeant OF1, you like jack trucks from dudes and use that and shit like that. Y'all are in the Wild West. I'm like, yeah, dude, I would take that any day over what you guys went through. Any day of the fucking week, man. But
you guys were there for a year, right? You said?
Yeah, well, we were down in Helmand for 3 months and then in the DOB for 9. But,
how many guys did you? I hate to answer this question, man, but
we only lost 3, man.
3?
I mean, only.
Yeah, probably a lot of W. You had 11, you said. So
we had 11 amputees, and then I don't know exactly how many Purple Hearts. It was, you know, I would guess about 40% of the company. And it's not, it's not shit that got dudes, you know, like a lot of them, it's fucking old boy hits a fucking PMM mine, and then the fucking the 5-pound jug of HME blows over here, and he gets a piece of shrapnel right here. He's good, return to duty, shit like that, you know. But
yeah.
I
tell you, Mac, when I got back, when it's the 82nd, I was the first sergeant man. I was sitting in there, and I think when you guys came back, Reggie came over to my office.
Yeah.
And like I love Reggie, man. I still talk to him today and stuff. So we kept talking through this whole thing. But you know, when he came back, I was sitting in my office. I think I got fucked up on a jump or something. I was just sitting there moping or whatever. And he was like, Jerry, dude, you don't even know. Like, I can't go back to something like that. Like, he was just like, I just can't go. I can't do like to me. I'm like, holy fuck! Like,
dude, I was done.
Yeah.
Like, I told when Sergeant Major Gooden came in. So just dig this. I had 17 years in when we deployed. When I made the Sergeant Major list, I think I had 18. I hit 18. And you hear these stories all the time, but I'm saying this on camera. It's not a fucking lie. I'm not a fucking poser. For Sergeant Major, I had no DA photo. I didn't validate my records or any of that shit. They wanted us to before deployment. And me and my buddy Gondik, who made the Sergeant Major list too, who's a fucking beast, we were both like, we ain't got time for that shit. We're both same exact data rank, same exact everything. We're like, dude, we're not going to fucking, you know, like, we weren't even thinking about it. And then, you know, I'm knee deep in this deployment, and I'm so like just beat down and tired. Like, and then I get an email from I forget who it was, somebody from HRC, and they're like, hey, you're on the takeout list from the 82nd. We're looking at sending you to the Joint Warfighter Center in Virginia. I was like, what the fuck? You know, like,
yeah.
And then I was like, well, do you got anything else? And then I was able to flip flop and get a OC gig down in Fort Polk. Because I was from Louisiana. I was like, well, at least I'll go down there and figure out what the fuck I want to do. Because I was just tired, man. And then Gooden came in, and Gooden's like, well, what are your plans, man? I was like, what do you mean, Sergeant Major? He's like, what are you gonna do when you make Sergeant Major? I was like, Sergeant Major, I ain't gonna make Sergeant Major. I don't even fucking. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I can't deal with this no more. Like, I just, you know, I didn't say it in front of the guys, but I just couldn't, man, because you know you got to own it all. And ownership is heavy, man. And yeah, well, anyway, Gooden's like, well, why don't you want it? And I told him, and then he's like, well, you know, you can still make. I was like, I didn't even do a DA photo, none of that shit, Sergeant Major. And he's like, stranger things have happened. I think he already fucking had the early list or some shit.
Yeah.
But Love was the first one that emailed me because Red Falcons had just deployed to I think they were in Bagram training the A&A for like 3 months or some shit. I don't know if you were with them then.
Yeah.
You remember when they went over there? Because Cavazos was one, but Love was the first one to email me and, hey, congratulations, Sergeant Major.
He always is, dude.
But like, dude, like when I found out, I swear to you, man, like, because never in my entire career, like if you look at my career path or even the way I talk, I never even thought about being a first sergeant major, none of that shit, you know, like I got wounded as a staff sergeant P, and then by the next thing you know, I'm a first sergeant, and then I made sergeant major like that. And you know, now that I'm older and retired and out and got to talk to guys who have done boards and different shit like that, I know that year what they were looking at, they weren't looking at anything but like combat fucking, you know, operated combat leaders. That's what they were looking at that year. And it was like, because Gondik was just like me, and we both, you know, made it. And then he went and became a CSM, and then went and did a congressional fellowship. And I was like, yeah, that ain't me, dude.
Yeah.
Just
so
like,
you went to the Sergeant Major Academy, right? And then would you go after that? Like,
so I went to Fort Brigade, 10th Mountain down at Fort Polk.
Okay.
I got sent. So they were sending me and all the 82nd guys to RISTA battalions. And I remember I told HRC, I was like, I don't even know how to fucking spell gunnery. How the fuck am I going to go to a like, what the fuck? So I get to Fort Brigade, 10th Mountain, and the Sergeant Major was there, the Brigade Sergeant Major. Well, he's like, yeah, man, you're going to 289. And I was like, Sergeant Major, I was like, we need to talk to somebody. Anyway, long story short, the division sergeant major was Rick Merritt, and the 2-4 sergeant major was Al Mashad, Big Al, and they grew up in Ranger Regiment together.
Yep. Oh, Merritt.
And,
Yeah.
and Al was like, well, let me have him, dude. So I went to 2-4, and then lucky me, as soon as we deployed, division's like, no, you're going to be the brigade ops sergeant major. I was like, but I do say though, man, like for me, never doing an operations or anything like that, being an ops sergeant major before I was a CSM made me such a better, because I understood how to interact with division. Like I even told my battalion staff, and I had dudes that had like, because I was like, hey, motherfuckers, I'm going to tell you this, and you're going to fucking live by it.
Mm-hmm.
You love your fucking higher headquarters. I was like, don't ever let me fucking hear you bitching about them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if there's a bitch, you fix it.
Yeah.
And I remember my officer major's like, when I got and took my battalion like that, I'm like, he's like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, like your boys, you can't go around say, oh, battalions or brigades got us doing this or division. Like, no, motherfucker, it's us. That's what we do. We own it, and
I had an appreciation with my ops sergeant major because I knew what he went through, so like I knew the shit that he was putting up with, the shielding the battalion from just dumb shit, right? So, and I dude, I'm totally on board because I did the same thing, man. I went and did a battalion and brigade ops sergeant major before I became a CSM. It was the best thing for me.
Yeah,
right. So
because I had no clue how. I mean, other than sergeant major academy, how.
Yeah, nobody tells you how to be an ops sergeant major. Me and Chris had some really good. We had a good one, so we had some good ones.
Yeah, we did.
And so
I mean, but yeah, dude, like. Like I'm supposed to do this podcast where the dude really wants me to tell my story, and I don't even know how, man. You know what I mean? Just like y'all, like when you're asking me, like, "Hey, tell my story." It's just always, because like, where I'm at now, man, is like, with all the shit I've done, and I know you want to talk about the movie. We'll talk about that real quick before we get off. But
we got some time, man. We don't have to rush into it.
With all the shit I've done, I've been retired for 10 years, man. I'm not famous. I ain't rich, and I ain't trying to be. But I finally figured out, man, like the key to just, living retired is just fucking like, just do what makes you happy, man.
Mm-hmm. Seeing you throw axes and
like whatever, like me, dude, I love metal. So I'm always, but like the other piece to it is I think us leading by example now too is senior leaders when we get out is just showing dudes just live your best life, man, and just be a good person. Like, and one of the big problems, because, I've been out for so long and I know this veteran community now is like I said, there's so many kids out there. I say kids because that's what we call them, but they still live off that one deployment or that one story. And it's like, man, until you tell that story and drop that shit off, you're going to constantly be there. You're never going to move past that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see a lot of these veterans that are still the vet bro and still this and that, because they can't get past, all the shit that, I guess, well, we did this in Iraq. Okay, cool. But in the grand scheme of things, does anybody in the world other than us give a fuck? No. Like, dude, but, and everybody's got a fucking war story, man. Like, what's more important is like, how are you living now, man? Like, are you in a fight right now? Like, because I'll tell you, dude, like this last year of my retirement has been the roughest on me mentally in a long time. And it'll hit you.
Chris will see it. He's still in, but it's hard.
It'll hit you, man. Like mine.
Yeah.
I think one of my guys died back in September, and it really kind of put me over the edge. And it was one of those where I didn't even realize it, but I went into that because how many. And this is the other thing where, like I said, I throw shade at our peers because when I go into a hole, all those kids that are always looking for me to talk to them and shit like that. Number one, they're worried, but number two, they don't have me, like if they need me. And, and what I try to explain to these younger guys is like, look, man, for a guy like me, I'm going to get there, but it's hard because You know, I lived this entire Army life, and to me, you're always going to be sergeant such and such or specialist such and
Mm-hmm.
such. And in my and I know it's the wrong answer, but in my mind, my job is to let you know everything's okay. And if I was really, and I've talked to the guys, you know, I'm talking about this now, but if I was really in the right, you know, doing the right thing, like I preach to guys, like where we fail all the time, man, is we talk to these guys about reaching out and all this shit if you're hurting. Like where I fail, and like I said before, is we don't reach out enough when we're doing good, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
To
No,
the
it does.
like, you know, and then the other piece to it is like, you know, us or any of these kids, like I tell them all, I'm like, there's somebody out there that looks up to you. And if you let life kick your ass and you let all this do it, then where's their hope, man? You know, and that's what we got to get to. But anyway, we could talk about that for hours. But what I will say, man, is like, I think the most therapeutic, important thing we can do as grunts, as fucking no bullshit warfighters, guys that have been on the ground, is talk to our peers and say, hey, man, get your boys back together, dude. See how they're doing.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know if y'all have done any of it, man, but when you do, like, it's like, it's so
Yeah.
good. So
I saw I see the pictures and stuff, man. You guys do a hell of a job with those guys.
Yeah, and like now, you know, and I get the hookup where I get, because I'm so into metal, where I'm able to get like tickets for metal shows and shit like that. And like when Blue Ridge was going on, I could bring guys out there for like the full weekend and let them go backstage and do everything. And like, and all of that shit's cool. But like we all talk about when we're all together, like we're camping at the metal festival or wherever. We're like, all this shit's cool, but I don't even really, all we need is the tent and some fucking land, man.
Yeah.
Like, because all you need is to tell the stories again. You know,
I think too, Mac, like I tell you a little bit about me and Chris, like our guys were at HK in Afghanistan, right? So like our guy, I mean,
I couldn't imagine that.
It's kind of like your situation, right? So like you guys been through some shit nobody's ever been through, right? Like the guys that stood that wire have been through some shit nobody in 20 years have been through.
Yeah.
Like they saw shit that
I couldn't
is unbelievable. So for us, man, to try to, because some of the young guys don't tell their stories and stuff, and they're still like, you know, still trying to get over some of the things. So going back to what you said, it's like, I think that's why we kind of do this podcast too. So like we could have them tell their stories and kind of lift some of that off their shoulders, and give them the ability to, you know, one, make sure it's never forgotten. Two, to kind of fix the narrative on some things and just get it out there to support those guys, because you know even. Going up to the 82nd and dealing all this shit like the combat tempo and going here or there and like losing guys and guys committing suicide. And even as a leader, like you have that heavy weight on your shoulders, man. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like I got to reach out to everybody again and tell fucking what's his name killed himself. And, you know, it's a heavy thing, man. And I think getting together and then talking about this and just having a conversation, man. I don't care if 2 people watch this, right? But it's still like, we're still getting together. I haven't seen you in, I don't know, probably fucking 20 years. I don't know, but
we might have ran into each other once somewhere, but that's about it.
Yeah. So like it's good. I mean, I could probably I can call you tomorrow if I needed some help. Right. So,
well, yeah, dude. I mean, that's what I said, that, you know, you got that. But you know, one of the problems too, man, and I did a video about this a long time ago, is like, in this world, you know, all of our guys, when they get out, especially when the war was raging, they saw, and I know all the Black Rifle guys and all that, they saw all these vet bros get famous, and then they saw all these wounded guys getting everything thrown at them. And then, you know, they get out and they think everybody's going to be bending over backwards to help them. You know, everything's going to be cool. Everybody, you know, wants to hear their story, and nobody gives a fuck, man. And that's the hardest part. And I think how we could help with that is kind of what you're saying. Where we fail is and I say we, like me, is everyday Americans have no clue what the Army and the military does. They think everybody that wears a uniform is over there fighting and getting shot at and getting blown up and all that shit, right? So what we all know is like special operations. They have a place, they have a job. There's a specific type of guy that goes there. But what you don't hear is, okay, you got special ops cool guy who's on socials that's got his, he says 20 deployments or whatever, which equals like a couple of hours.
Which are 4 months, by the way.
Yeah.
But my point is they're talking about leadership and they're talking about all this. And that's great. But realistically, what have they ever led other than host nation forces? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like what I explain to dudes is like, I'm like, you take an E5 infantryman, right? And you take a E7 special forces guy. All right. In combat, which one's got heavier weight on his shoulders? Which one?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
One's responsible for 3 Bubbas. The other one's responsible for 1 Bubba, his fucking self. And then his fucking OIC and NCOIC, are they really in charge?
Mm-hmm.
No. They're figureheads. But my point is like those guys are important. Their job is very important. And there's a specific individual that should go that route. But at the same time, they are not the fucking Army.
Mm-hmm.
They're a very, very small part of the military. And I think it hurts these kids when they see all that. And I've even heard young infantrymen say, well, they did more to me. No, they didn't. They just did something fucking different, man. That's it.
That's they got cool equipment and they do CQB pretty well, but
now let's take that back. One company per battalion does CQB pretty well.
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
That's the other thing people don't understand. All right.
Yeah.
Not all those guys. All right. We could go there all day long because people don't understand that shit either. But
yeah. But
everybody
they also didn't have to leave Arghandab Valley. Like to get out of the bunk to go fucking patrol again.
No, but my point is like I'm really good friends with special forces guys that I love. They're my brothers, man, and they all know they had a very important mission, man. But they don't fucking church it up. You know what I mean? They don't like it's like, dude, like you know, like for. I have dudes. I used to have dudes like, hey, did you see Jocko's podcast? I'm like, dude, why the fuck would I watch that? And they're like, because it's Jocko Willink. He's the leader of all leaders. I'm like, really? Tell me what he's led. And he's like, well, he's a Navy SEAL. Okay, well, and then I break down, you know, what a Navy SEAL team is, what a SEAL team commander does, how many guys he's in charge of, and all that shit. And I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm not saying he's not a squared away fucking kick-ass killer fucking badass dude, but the difference between him and guys like us is in his world, if they suck, they're gone. In our world, if they suck, we have to train them.
Yep.
So the leadership is different. And oh, by the way, unless you fucking had to be responsible for a fucking 19-year-old kid that has a fucking wife that's a fucking stripper with 3 fucking kids from another dude and got a fucking 30% APR on a car.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about fucking leadership until you've had to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Man. But that's my point is like, we got shit so backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other piece, I got to say it before I forget, and it pisses me off so bad, and I hope somebody sees it. All you fucking sergeants majors that are in now smiling for your fucking command photos, somebody to slap you in the fucking face. Like, what the fuck, man? You're not supposed to smile in a fucking command photo. Like, really? Come on. You know what I'm talking about? Like, come on, dude. They're like, yeah, I'm Sergeant Major, motherfucker. That's what the officers do, man. You're supposed to be the fucking mean. Yeah, come on. But
Mac, I agree, bro. I think
it's different, man.
I think when you said the civilians don't understand, man, it's like I've said this on this fucking thing, man. We've got some good friends. We got a guy that we served Afghanistan last year. His name's Ryan Henderson, right? So he's a Green Beret, but he is the one of the most
Henderson. He's the one that wrote the book Tip of the Spear.
Yeah. So me and Chris
follow each other on Instagram. I think I met him at SHOT Show.
Yeah, we're pretty good. We're pretty close with Ryan. So Ryan's going to come on the show after he gets back from Ukraine. But one of the most humble dudes, man. Like
Yeah.
he's doesn't give like he's all like he's awesome, man. I love him to death and how he approaches being a Green Beret.
Dude, I got a
But
buddy that's a keg sergeant major retired. I mean,
yeah,
y'all know one of them, Pat McNamara, but I'm not talking about him.
yeah,
Pat's cool, but Pat's
he's a
but
character.
like my other buddy, he's retired Delta Sergeant Major, you know, and like we set up one night, all night talking, and the guys around were just tripping out because he was talking about how it wasn't about what he did, but it was about how the fuck could you deal with having all those guys? How did you deal, you know, because he literally didn't know, because he's like, dude, I've literally been in charge of me since I came in the fucking Army.
Yeah.
Like he literally said that. He's like, I'm a damn good trigger puller, you know, but the thing is that guy got out of the Army, fucking went and worked at Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if you see him, he's got a gut, looks like a normal dude, you know, like those are the guys, you know, like me now, like when dudes meet me and shit, especially when I have my long hair and shit, unless I tell them, you know, and if they see my military tats, they don't know I'm a retired sergeant major, because how many sergeants majors look like me that are retired?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I wish I had a beer like that.
Yeah, but it's like I remember Sergeant Major Capel. I got asked to be the guest speaker for the DoD suicide conference. I think it was like in 19 or something like that. And Sergeant Major Capel was there, and we went and had lunch together. Me, him, Leroy Peacher, somebody else. And Sergeant Major Capel's like, Mac, what the fuck's up with that beard, man? I was like, Sergeant Major, I'm fucking retired. I was like, what the fuck's up with that high and tight? You're retired. You know, like, how about let that shit go? I was like, that's why I don't work at range control, because I'm not going to tell people I'm retired sergeant major. Motherfucker. Like, no, man. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, at the end of the day, I'm just Mac. That's why I tell dudes now, man. Like, I do like Flowers does. I understand it now. You know, because I tell dudes, I'm like, just fucking Mac, man.
Just like, be yourself, man.
You know, and obviously all the guys from like Bravo Company and all, it's still first sergeant, because that's who I'm always going to be to them. But like, but,
hey,
you know,
so how was it when you saw Brady Callahan at you spoke at his ball?
Oh yeah, that was cool, man.
Yeah,
I saw him. I was like, holy shit!
He just got jump master, man. He's killing it.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome, man.
Yeah.
The Two Fury commander now was our rear D commander for the Arghandab deployment.
Yeah,
he's a good dude. He beats himself up because he went on the, you know, he's deployed numerous times, but he beats himself up because he's back in the rear on that one. I was like, sir, any one of us guys that has reached any level in the Army know that out of all the shit we did, you had the hardest job out of all of us. Like, could you imagine on a deployment about like that being the rear D commander? Oh my God. Like, no sleep, constant stress. Like, and especially if you're a good dude who actually gives a shit like him, you know?
Yeah.
That shit aged that kid 10 years. Like, he didn't have hair left back.
So Mac, when you got out of the Army, you say you had some nonprofits, and then you did some of this movie stuff, and like, how does all that play out? Like,
well, the movie thing, man, is cool because so when I first got out, I was doing a event down in Texas called Helicopters for Heroes, and I had like 7 or 8 Two Fury guys down there. Anyway, there was a bunch of people there, and we're shooting hogs out of helicopters. And
oh shit,
this is in 17. I think it was like February 17, like right after I retired. And we're out there, and then this dude walks by, and then I was like looking at him, I was like, fuck, that dude looks familiar. And then I kept looking at him, and I was like, holy fuck, that's the dude off White Chicks. You know, like the party boy. Like, I was like, what the fuck? So I went and talked to him. I was like, hey, dude. I was like, you look just like that guy off of White Chicks. And he's like, really? You recognize me? And then we started talking. And he's an actor, this guy, Stephen Graham. He was down there. He helped, I guess, start the 22 kill push-up challenge back in the day and all that shit.
Okay.
But anyway, I met him there, and he was there with, I think, 22 kill or somebody. And there were some other guys around, and you know, we didn't talk much. I just told him, hey man, I'm Mac, nice to meet you. You know, it's cool, blah blah blah. But anyway, Nate Boyer was there, who I know Nate real well, and him and Nate were friends. And I guess after I left, Nate told him, he's like, that guy's a sergeant major, right? And he was like, because Steven was writing a script for the movie that he has out now back then. Anyway, long story short, I get back home and then I get an email because Nate had gave me my email address. He's like, hey, brother, this is Stephen Graham, and he's like, I would love to send you the script of this movie to check out. It's one about post-traumatic growth that I'm trying to do. And I'd love to get your feedback on it because the guys say you're like somebody I really need to get to. So I was like, yeah, man. So he had wrote this movie. He originally called it, I think, Thunder Road. And it's loosely based off of 3 guys from 10th Mountain that went into the Army after September 11th. One got killed in combat. And then it's about the other 2 back home, basically. But, I looked at it, and me being me, he had the when they tell the story about the battle scene in there, some of it was just like, it got down to a knife fight, and I was like, dude, just stop.
Yeah.
I was like, number one, if somebody told you that, they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Like, if you want this thing to be legit, like I put it in there in the email. I was like, if you want this to be legit, you really need to get a military advisor if you're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. I said, but I really love where you're going. Because the story, basically, it centers around a guy who, like, went back home thinking everything's going to be hunky-dory after all the deployments.
Is this the new movie you're talking about, or is this this is not the horror one, right? Okay.
But that's how we kind of got to know each other. So anyway, he was working on it way back then. He's been working on this movie for like 13 years. This one out, Sheepdog, right now. But basically, I really, we started talking and I got to know him really well. And I loved what he was doing with the Sheepdog story, because what he was trying to do is he told me, he's like, dude, at that point, he was trying to get his citizenship. He's Canadian. He went to the London School of Film, but he lives in America. Now he lives in Massachusetts, and he is an American now. But but he was like, I've met so many guys that are just otherworldly humans, and he's like, and they're not broken like everything says you guys are. And he's like, and I want to show that. I want to show that, yeah, you got problems, but I want to show that, at the end of the day, we all do, and you can get through it. So basically, man, he's worked on this movie that he has a movie out right now. It was in theaters. It's on all the rental platforms right now. But last summer, I was able to bring at 4 or 5 different film festivals, bring different guys that served with me over the years in there, and every single one of them, to include myself, just bawled our eyes out.
Really? Oh, shoot.
This movie, like, there's not a battle scene in it. It's all about back home, this kid, when he gets out. But it's basically centered around this one character, right? And it shows the struggle. Like, Planks gets shot down. He's shut down. He don't have a job. There's other shit that happens. So he shows in there that it's not just your military service. It's life, but the most important thing in that movie out of any fucking military movie that I've seen, especially like the ones where they try to do PTSD and all this shit, is that movie, his movie is 100% about ownership and growth. Like, one of the first scenes when the main character gets told that he has to go to therapy because he's literally, you'd have to watch it, but it makes sense. The judge say, and he goes to therapy, and the first thing he tells the therapist is like, how are you going to fix me? And that's what I told my therapist. I was like, my wife wants me being here, my buddy, but I don't. And and in the movie, she's like, I'm not here to fix you. You're here to fix you. I'm just here to give you the tools. And then there's a scene where he basically tells her, fuck you, I'm done. And she gets up and tells him, fuck you back. Nobody can fix you but you. Like, it's so important how he does it to show guys, look, man, just because we're dealing with some shit don't mean nothing, man. You just you can get past it. And I'm telling you, if you watch this movie, you would be,
you said it's Sheepdog, right? You have to check that out.
So anyway, we became good friends. And in order for him to make Sheepdog, right, with these badass producers he's got, he had to do a proof of concept movie to show that he could actually write and direct and star in a feature film, because he's been in a shitload of movies and stuff and written and all, but had never done all 3 and had never directed a movie. So he calls me. I got the movie poster up right here, but he calls me up once summer night, and like I think it was like 19, something like that. It's like late as shit because he was in LA. He's like, "Hey man, what you doing?" I was like, I probably told him I was sleeping or some shit. He's like, "Hey man, I got this idea for a movie. You're my first phone call." He's like, "Please tell me you'll do it." And I was like, "Dude, I don't even. What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, man. I want to make this horror movie. It's about this character. He gets possessed by an ancient evil spirit and he murders his family. And I want you to play him. You're my inspiration because of the tomahawks and everything." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dude, I don't know how to fucking act." He's like, "Yeah, you do. You're around those guys. You know how to act."
Yeah.
He's like, "I guarantee the camera won't scare you." I was like, "Yeah, that won't bother me. Once you stood out in front of fucking paratroopers, nothing bothers you."
Yeah.
You know? But so anyway, yeah, I was still kind of putting it as lip service, you know, when he told me and all. And then, long story short, it happened. We filmed it right before COVID, in we'll say it was January 20, and it was cold as shit in the snow. I'm shirtless, covered in blood. Fucking
Yeah. Dude, I would have a hard time remembering the script.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, I didn't hardly have a lot of lines.
I was gonna say, I was like, fuck, I couldn't remember.
There are some scenes when I'm in the shed where I'm like, "Hey, little girl," you know, shit like that. But and then there's some growling and shit off screen. But
Yeah.
most of me is just the evil entity in the background looking scary. And
Yeah.
but what Steven was able to do was he made that movie for like 400 grand, right?
Mhm.
And it's on Amazon right now still. It's a horror movie, low budget. Got a 5.9 on IMDb and like a high popcorn score on fucking Rotten Tomatoes because it's actually a good fucking movie. Like it came out
Wow.
really good. The guy who did the cinematography, it was his first movie because the script was so cool. He basically came from California, did it for basically nothing, went back, and because of this, got another gig to do MVP the movie, and did MVP the movie, and then won an Emmy on
Wow.
his second
Nice.
movie.
Yeah.
Like the dude was that good. Like if you watch the movie, like the way it's filmed and all, like it is beautiful, man. Like it's low budget, so there's no like high speed special effects other than like they black out my eyes with the computer and all. But like you don't see me killing anybody or anything because we didn't have the money. It would have looked stupid. You know?
I gotta check this out. I gotta check
you see it.
sheepdogging this out.
Yeah, Sheepdog.
Yeah.
I will tell you, man. I had as a matter of fact, I know a guy. He's a special forces guy that was watching it with us, and he was like, "Man, that's just not my kind of movie." After it was over, and I was like, "Yeah, man, it's not an action movie." But I was like, and I told him, I was like, "You know why it's not your kind of movie? Because you've never been that guy."
Yeah.
And he
Not
was like,
kicking indoors.
he was like, "You're right, man."
Yeah.
Because think about it, you know, like they don't. That's what people forget, man. Is like,
Yeah.
you're a fucking 19, 20-year-old kid. That's hell when you're 20, 21, responsible for 3 bubbas, and you're responsible for making life and death decisions and killing people on the spot. You know, I mean,
That's because so you hit the nail on the head, right? It's not sexy that the 3 of us had to deal with the 19-year-old married to the stripper with 3
Nope.
kids who's doing coke in the bathroom, right?
Nope.
What's sexy is the SEAL team that got to go take Bin Laden, right?
Yep.
And so that's what sells. Sex sells,
Yep.
and that is you know, it's a very small, disproportionate size of the military that everybody thinks is cool. Oh, it's a Navy SEAL. Oh, it's an operator. Oh, it's a Green Beret. And I am not. Trust me, anybody that listens to this, I've got friends that are just like all of us.
Yeah.
We all have friends that are in that area. I'm not taking away from what they
It's
do.
a narrative, sir. It's a narrative.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Most of the good guys in that community they don't go along with that narrative. They're like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Most of
you
those
know?
social media guys are, whatever.
But
They're just-
like for example, man, like when I was a CSM for, like if I had a good young officer that wanted to go SF, I would try everything in my being to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Hey sir, why don't you think about RASP?" Or, you know, I'm
Yeah.
like, and one of my biggest selling points to him would always be, I'd be like, "Do you want to sit in that office one day? You want to be a battalion commander of an airborne unit? If you go SF, it's probably not going to fucking happen." And they're like, "What do you mean?" because a lot of young lieutenants don't know. I'm like, you won't be fucking maneuver certified. You have never maneuvered fucking elements. And that's what people understand. Like, special operations doesn't know how to maneuver. Like, you know what I mean? It's a different world, and you need both. I mean, and I tell guys, like, I've even had, because of how I look, like, hey, you were special forces, right? Fuck no. And I'm like, there's certain types of dudes, like a guy like me, if I would have went SF, it wouldn't have worked, because I'm a standards guy. And I think for some of us, once we get that taste of leadership, and you get to see that little shithead that had the fucking stripper wife and all grow from that and blossom into a fucking NCO that's fucking crushing his PT, leading his boys, clearing houses, doing all this shit. Dude, there's nothing.
It's a good feeling, man.
Yeah.
It's good seeing that.
Really good feeling.
Yeah. And then once, I tell guys, there's certain guys in the military, like, I know you guys have seen them in your units, that are fucking studs, awesome fucking dudes, but we're not team players. So it's like, yeah, dude, go do your own thing, man. You're not for this. This ain't you.
Yeah. I was never a fan, Mac. Like, I know I fought through this with Chris in Afghanistan. Like, when they're like, "Hey, man, you got to give a platoon up to an SF group," man. I was like,
"Oh, for fucking
DSO. If we got to do it, it's fine, man." But it's just, it's hard because don't get me wrong. Some guys do very well with conventional dudes, but there's some that don't.
Yeah,
like, hey, go clean the shitters today or some shit like that. I didn't want any of that to happen. I was kind of hesitant about it.
Dude, I do got to say it real quick before I forget. When we're in the Arghandab, because it was so bad with the dismounted booby traps and everything, we got 2 permanent EOD teams attached to us, but they were Air Force Spec Ops EOD. And those dudes were fucking studs. Like, it blew my mind. Like, because when the first team first got there, and when they first told me, I was like, what the fuck? That's probably worse than fucking Navy. Like, what? And I know Army's bad. Like, what the fuck? And then they show up. Army EOD is the worst fucking EOD.
Hey, dude, I know. I've dealt with them too. We've kicked them off the farm a couple of times.
Fat, lazy motherfuckers. I'll just say.
Yeah.
So. Some of them might be good dudes, but most of them are fucking fat and lazy.
Yeah.
But no, dude. Like, yeah, those guys, when they came out, the first thing he told me is like, "First Sergeant, we can carry our own weight. We'll do everything you guys do." He's like, "I'll send 2 guys out on every patrol with you." He's like, I might just ask that you might have to help us carry some of the C4 and shit. I was like, too easy, bro. And those dudes were studs. They were pretty boys, but they busted their ass to help us, man. And I was like, I had to get on their ass about putting their clothes on and shit. But other than that, we were good. It's like I had a when I was a brigade ops sergeant major, I came in 4th Brigade on deployment, right? And our JTAC and his major were sitting in there, and they both had big out of rag mustaches. And I was like, "Sir, Sergeant, what the fuck is that shit?" Because I came over mid-deployment, take the brigade, and they were like, "We're authorized this. We got a relaxed grooming standard, Sergeant Major." I was like, "Who the fuck signed that shit? Let me see it."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Let me see your relaxed grooming standards." So one of them, the thing is, the major brought it out, their colonel signed. I was like, "Oh, it's a lieutenant colonel." I was like, "Colonel Diaz outranks him." Tore it up. I was like, "No, go fucking shave." And they went and shaved. Because I was like, "Come on, man. You're in the fucking infantry world now. Don't be a fucking poser."
So what's next for old Mac? What's going on? What are you working on now? What do you got coming up in the future?
I might have another movie. I mean, supposed to have it. It looks like it's going to happen. When I went to one of those film festivals in Texas, I got to meet the producers and all. But there's a heist film on the horizon. So if it happens, it's going to happen sometime this year. But other than that, man, I'm just doing my thing. I've been doing a lot of art. I think I'm going to start selling it soon because I do some pretty brutal metal style shit. Because I had to take a step back from the nonprofit shit and all, man, because it's all political, dude. Like, I'm done with this.
Hard.
It's like I know ones that help guys now, and I'll send guys their way, but I'm not gonna deal with them anymore. And I would suggest to you guys, if you get out and you're gonna work with a nonprofit or something, just most of them, like, they're not doing anything wrong, but it becomes such a, there's so much red tape and rigmarole involved with it. And then it becomes, oh, we're going to take, like, I think where a lot of nonprofits have problems now is, like, for example, they'll take dudes like us, right, and try to put you into a thing with, like, a female, 3 or 4 dudes that have never done anything or nothing like that. And it's like, dude, you have to understand, like, you have to speak the language of who the fuck you're trying to help. And oh, by the way, you can't give a fuck either way. Like, there can't be a either side. As a nonprofit, it's got to be, we're just here to help people. Yeah. Like, who gives a fuck about anything else? And
there's so many too, man.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we were about to start one with all the guys, we're going to call it Compassionate Savages, but I told them, I was like, I did a lot of this stuff. I wrote it down. But I told them, I was like, I'm not, if y'all want to fucking run it and do it, do it. I was like, but if y'all don't do it, it ain't going to fucking happen, because I ain't fucking doing it.
I think me and Chris, we're talking to one guy now. I think Chris Robinson. He's trying to make, he's a last deployment project. We had him on last episode, but he's starting to do some, but his is more about storytelling, like
in the stories. No, I mean, dude, there are some that do great shit.
Yeah.
But and a lot of those you don't even hear about, man. Like, do you guys even know about Hunter 7 Foundation?
Nope.
Y'all both need to check them out.
What was it, Hunter what?
Hunter 7 Foundation. It was for Sergeant Major. Hunter 7 was a call sign. It was a Sergeant Major who got killed in what unit was it? I think it was first Cav.
Yeah.
But he was a nurse, started it. But basically it's they do all the cancer research and all from all the shit we've been exposed to. Like last year they gave me one of those one tests where they test you for all the cancers. They do that, they raise money to get, like, when they go to places, they do that for guys. And then they like, we had a guy from the Arghandab, one of our mortarmen, that had leukemia. They helped him. Like, because what you don't realize is even like us, we get out, I still got TRICARE and I got the VA, but there's still all the rigmarole, And
there is.
And with organizations like Hunter 7 and all can get the money and just put them right into the doctor that they need or whatever. And so if you get a chance, check them out. I know Chelsea, the one who started, they legit do some good stuff.
If you can share me that, I guess I can look it up, but
we
can share it too, man.
Yeah.
So
I think it's hunter7.org. They do a lot of good stuff. And
it is. I'm looking at it right now. It's hunter7.org. Prevent and detect cancer. Looking at exposure and just general health.
And they post a lot of studies too, as far as like and I haven't done it. I don't know if you guys have. I still haven't done the burn pit registry shit. I need to go fucking do it.
You know what, man? Every few years,
I am sorry to cut you
think about
off,
it, and then I don't. Yeah.
I don't want to do. I want to do it too, man. But it's so much fucking paperwork.
No, I know. That's why I was like, well, I can't even remember about the shit. Like, how the fuck am I?
I can't remember all the fucking fob shit.
Nope.
I'm like, but yeah, man. But no, what y'all are doing, man. I mean, this is so important, dude. And like, and yeah, dude, get those kids on here, tell their fucking stories, man.
Yeah.
Let like Jared Lemon, like a kid, like the kids, man. Let them tell from, what's their story, because that's something, like for us to tell our story, like realistically, we could sit here between the three of us, and if we didn't have to go to sleep, we could fucking talk forever, because we have so much shit up here.
Yeah.
And I think right now, man, like I said, what's important for us is to just be ourselves, man. And I just
want the young guys to tell stories to you, man.
Yeah, that's all
the sergeant majors and Christy sergeant majors out there. I like to get the young guys on, man. Like,
well, I mean, dude, like most of our fucking stories, like I said, dude, like I got some OIF1 stories and shit, but 99% of that shit I forgot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, then the other thing, I tell kids this today. I'm like, dude, take as many fucking pictures as you can, because now you have devices. Yeah. Because you don't think about that shit. Like, I have pictures from like OIF1 and a couple from like Afghanistan. And the only reason I have those is because other dudes gave them to me.
Yeah.
Like an OIF1, Bobby took them all.
I lost a hard drive.
Yeah.
hard
See,
drive.
I didn't even have that, dude. You know,
Yeah.
like, but you don't think about that shit because you're knee deep in it. And then back then, we didn't have all the access that they got now. But like,
Sure.
but you know, like, it's cool when you go back and you look at those old pics and all, and you're like, man, it brings back fucking memories. You know, like it's just, but
yeah, man, if you got some of your paratroopers, we'd love to have them on, man. Like we're like a small fleeting channel right now. We're working through it, but
well, like
we'd
I
love
said,
to have them on, man. Like,
well, dude, just don't just stay consistent and it'll grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and then, you know, eventually you can hire you some fucking 20-year-old nerd to do all the editing and shit.
Oh God. Yeah.
Fucking
Our fucking S6 is fired.
Dude,
Yeah.
Our S6.
Look at
I
my
don't know if
lighting.
you- I don't know if you saw it, but during COVID, I did like Max Man Cave chats. And all
Yeah.
it was is because nobody could get together. So a couple of guys had the idea. So I think I had Rudy Reyes. I had some other, you know, normal buddies, but I had some cool dudes on there, but I just did the video and then I posted it. And that was hard enough, man. I couldn't imagine doing all the editing and shit. And like,
we don't do too much of that. We just record and post.
No, but like, but the other thing, man, I know we're like all over the place, but the thing about the movie with Steven is, like, realistically, go check out Sheepdog because the dude really does give a shit. And because of what we were able to do with Synchrony, he started a production studio called Team House Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the veteran liaison. I'm not getting paid or anything, but as like, for example, in this next, like Sheepdog, I had a part in Sheepdog as one of the guys in the funeral because I'm too old to be anything else. And I couldn't do it because I was doing the Heart Support Fest in Florida. But yeah, Steven, man, like everything that dude does is legit and it's entertaining. And he literally wants to give back to us because he loves being an American. And the coolest thing about being on the set of Synchrony for me was it was almost like a mini deployment because you had me, you had Rudy Reyes. I don't know if y'all know who he is, but he's the recon Marine, cool guy.
Yeah.
And I love him to death like he's a brother. Like we're close as fuck. Nate Boyer, Tim Koltzak from the Veterans Project, Steven's brother-in-law, he was a vet from First ID. Like, and we all stayed in a fucking Airbnb. And like the whole time when all the crews, and it's almost like a military operation because you had all the platoons, you had the camera crews, you had the sound guys, you had the computer guys, you had the you know, all that shit. But it was cool because like everybody was stuck there together. So they got to kind of, you know, through shared suffering, got to do this, you know, because
that's it. Yeah.
Like even for example, like the two little makeup girls that had to cover all my tattoos up because they couldn't show my tattoos because it was a low budget movie, I guess, or something. But I had makeup like all over because I was shirtless. But when I had to fall in a creek, it's like 10 degrees out, January in Massachusetts, right? That little girl's like, she's like, don't do it, you could die. And I was like, I told her, I was like, if you had any clue what I did for a living, like this,
yeah,
like
that's awesome.
Like at least as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to a hotel and having a drink bourbon, you know, like, but it was cool because she, you know, she cared. She just like, because it was a guerrilla set. Like Steven told me, he's like, dude, the next movie you'll have a fucking trailer and shit. Like you'll get to see what a movie set looks like. But it was cool as fuck, man. Like, and then
nice.
when we did the premiere of that in Massachusetts, he actually had me up on stage and we talked about like the veteran aspect to it and how cool it was. But now with Team House, the idea is every time he gets a project, we're going to hire as many veterans as he can. And and what I told him when he had that idea is I was like, dude, that's great. I was like, but you got to vet them, man, because just because they're a vet don't mean they're a dude you want on your set.
Yeah.
They're not all good people, man. They're not all good people. I hate to say that, man. It sucks, but it's the truth.
Like Sheepdog, I think he was able to hire like 17 local veterans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like not to act, but to like work back scenes, you know, catering, doing I think one of them drove they had like a Winnebago for Virginia Madsen. He had like a car and he was like a personal security dude or whatever. But
yeah.
I
mean, Mac, look at your reach, bro. Look at your reach though, man.
Yeah.
Like you're like, you might not think you're doing pretty damn well. Like, for your community, and then the reach for the veteran community, getting out there and getting vets hired for in that community, and then what you're doing for Bravo Company, and then these names that these guys that you're working with, stayed at the Airbnb with, are pretty well known names, and
they're all good people, man. And
it's I mean, you're just doing a hell of a job, man. I don't know if you realize that, but
you really are.
You're doing a fucking badass,
dude. I'm just, like I said, y'all have figured out. Like, I'm just trying to figure it out, man, and it took a while. But if that heist movie it actually does get filmed, already got the script, it's going to be badass. Like,
nice.
The producer was like, I can't wait to see you shirtless.
Yeah.
Or your shirt ripped open with a machine gun. And I was like, what? Yeah. Like, I was like, fuck, you give me, I got to get in shape now. Fuck.
Yeah. It's good, man, that there's an ally for us. And I'm glad that you're connected with that to make sure like our stories are told the right way.
Yeah. And there's more of them, man. Like, I don't know if you guys, I'm really close, in the metal rock community with a lot of my idols growing up now, which is crazy. But I got really close with Adrian and Ryan Patrick from Otherwise, the rock band Otherwise, the one that sings the song Soldiers.
Yep.
And just based off of everything Ryan's been able to do, hanging with my boys and everything, he started a nonprofit through Gibson, and it's called Life by Music. And he started going to schools and, teaching kids music and giving out instruments. But then now I think he does it once either way, he started his shoulder to shoulder program and in Vegas, and he does it virtual. He brings in veterans and does singing, songwriting lessons. Yeah. And he just recently, an old Vietnam vet, got the Vietnam vet song, I guess, what do you call it? Like published or whatever. Which is pretty cool. But he's a really good kid, man. Like, they're first generation Americans. I think their parents came from like I don't even know, but they're good dudes, man. And he's doing really good as far as that goes. Like, he don't have a lot of reach, but he's got reach in the music community, and he's trying to show his other dudes. Like I even told him, man, I was like, look, realistically, like, if X amount of stars, such and such, whatever. I'm not even talking about stars. I'm talking about like real musicians that would like to go here play and shit. Like, I told him, I'm like, dude, if you talk to one of these kids for fucking 2 minutes and just ask them about them, that's going to change their life, man.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this guy that I worshiped is one, he's telling me I'm his hero, I'm his hero and shit. It's like, whoa. Yeah. And those guys do that because they give a shit, and it's like, matter of fact, I had them on one of the man cave chats, and we talked about the similarities between them being on the road and being deployed, except for the getting killed part. But I mean, working musicians, it's like working anything. They got a hard ass life, man.
Yeah.
Where are you located, Mac?
I'm still outside of Bragg, dude. I'm out in
outside of Bragg. Oh,
yeah, nice. I'm like 30 minutes over towards Stedman. We stayed here because Cassie lives in Charlotte now. She's married, and then Chell. Oh yeah, and this is funny. My oldest daughter, I got a 4-year-old grandbaby, and she's married to a SARC with Dev Group. So I love him to death, but he knows I'll punch a hole in his chest. So, but nah, he's my boy. But yeah, he's a damn good kid, but he's really humble. Like I didn't realize like what Navy SARCs actually did, but they're pretty high speed, man.
Yeah.
Like, to get selected for Dev Group, they're pretty legit.
Yeah.
But they all live, within 3 hours either way. So that's why me and Diane, and then KK still lives here. So we just like, fuck it until anything changes. We'll just bought us a house here after we retired.
Yeah.
But,
nice.
Yeah, dude. And I'll tell y'all too, man, as you grow, because I don't like, I reach out to people all the time, but I always get like opportunities for dudes and shit. And I don't know if you ever see me, like, I very seldom post on Facebook anymore. And the reason being is because I just couldn't look at it because of all the fucking bickering about politics and all that shit.
Yeah.
But no, man, like, I don't even know where I was going with that. But
you said as we grow.
Oh yeah. As you grow, man, like, I'll have, because dudes always hit me up for shit. Like, like last year, for example, I get a call one night from one of the dudes from Black Rifle, Derek. He was like, hey, you want to go to Travis Pastrana's house for the weekend? Blah blah blah. I was like, dude, I don't. He's like, I was like, how many guys can we send? He's like, dude, he wants to get like however many veterans out there. So I called a couple dudes, flew them out there. They hung for the weekend. There was no publicity about it, any of this shit.
It's good.
Like, y'all know who
That
Travis Pastrana is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
I also know Derek too. Is that Derek Weeda?
Well, not Weeda, Carver. Carver.
Okay.
Carver's the one. You've probably seen him in pictures with me missing his leg up. He was in the Dob with us, big old jack motherfucker.
Yeah.
But when he was a lieutenant, got his leg blown off at the hip.
Yeah.
Then got out and became the world's strongest adaptive athlete.
Hey, was Mills in your battalion? The guy he's the 4 amputee.
He was in I want to say he was in 473.
473.
He was in 4th Brigade though.
Yeah.
I think he was in the Cav.
Seems like a good dude too.
But I think he was an infantryman though. But I think he was in the Cav. Just like John Harmon, really good kid. He got both his legs blown off. He's one of the 473 guys. He just they all been doing getting ready to go to Normandy jumps and shit. And they were wanting me to jump out of the C-47. And I was like, yeah, nah, I ain't fucking doing that. Harmon,
bro, I'm too old for that.
Harmon sent me pictures of him jumping and Jared jumping too. Like Harmon with his 2 baby legs on, jumping out C-47. It made my dick so hard, man. I was like, God. Like, fucking paratroopers, dude. Like,
bro, there's an organization down here too that will kind of invited me to do that. And I was like, man,
they just talked to me the other day. I told him, I was like, dude, I'll go jump master, kick dudes out the plane for you, but I ain't jumping. Because that's why I retired. I broke my neck and had to get a fusion. And docs are like, I was like, fuck it. I was like, and I was like, there's no reward worth the risk right now.
Yeah.
You know
I got
like,
2 replaced hips. There's no way.
Yeah, this dude was out here running around with fucked up hips.
Well, you know, and my other thing to him is therein lies the difference between you and me. 4 years in the Army, 20 plus years in the Army.
Yeah.
Shit like that ain't fun no more. Like, I remember when I went back to division, I'd only been going for 2 years. And my first jump in T11 refresher, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm too old for this shit. Like, God damn.
Yep.
You know, like,
I mean, I just don't miss that last 10 feet, man.
No.
Sorry, guy. I like when I'm like 10 feet, 20 feet off the ground. I don't miss that part.
No, and I get it, man. Like, it's cool to go to Normandy and do the World War II thing, but like I told him, I was like, dude, that shit's already been done, man. You know, like it's cool, you can get it for the gram, but other than that, I don't want to fucking do it. You know,
yeah.
I mean, it's cool to hang out with the guys, you know, but yeah, dude. But there are they do a lot of good shit with the guys, and the other thing too, because like I said, man, I got so much shit. I should have wrote shit down. I didn't even prep for this.
It's okay, man.
But
it's fine.
I've been trying the last couple of years to help the 82nd Association because they have no, like, it's rough, dude. Like, the last couple of years, like, their Wounded Warrior portion has money to get wounded guys out there. So, like, we're able to get dudes out there, but we got to find them. So, like, again, when shit like that happens, I got to reach out and be like, hey, does anybody, you know, I know guys, but like, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to help those guys. And we did last year, Derek and I, we did a WOD workout with some of the old timers and some of the young guys, one of the mornings. Mm-hmm. And some of them actually showed up. One of the young guys actually, after it was all over, he sent me a long Instagram message about a week afterwards telling me he passed selection and was going, you know, the Q course and everything else. And that he would take everything I told him to heart. He was a good young, I think he was a young lieutenant. He was a really good kid. But they had never done shit like that. It's like, dude, you just got to do shit like, and don't make it like, we're going to do this shit 7 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's getting drunk the night before. If anybody wants to show up, they show up. If they don't, they don't. But like I told him, I was like, you got to have shit that's going to it's going to build the team, man. Not just dudes just showing up for a dinner. Like, so I get dudes there, like the last couple of years, it's been like 2 Fury reunion. And I was like, but that's like I said, man, that's where I need help from our peers to get other guys there, you know?
Yeah.
And flow.
Me and Chris need to start working some of that shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, like I didn't do this shit before, but Gary, the guy in charge of the Wounded Warrior portion of 82nd, Gary Risbeck, such a good guy, man, and he busts his ass to take care of these dudes. And like I said, they're able to get dudes out there, and then, you know, we want to get more guys to go support them, because like the other thing, I know it's getting late, but our fucking generation too, man, we're not the VFW generation, because everybody's on their phones and shit.
So Matt, we have in our battalion that we commanded in, they have an association, right? And dude, those guys, they're like your history back to Vietnam, like real big in Vietnam. There's a lot of Vietnam vets, World War II vets guys, but man, they are just they're screaming for some GWAT dudes to come like part of the association, because they're all these guys are getting older, and a lot of us, none of our are, like you said, you know, we're not stepping up to go to these
and like if you go to the 82nd convention, right? There's a bunch of old dudes there, but how many old Vietnam vets or World War II vets you think are left there?
Yeah,
not very many. You know, most of them are, like I said, they're those old dudes that got that one story that they tell you every time they see you, from when their first sergeant yelled at them when they were a PFC. You know, it's like, but they're still involved every year trying to, you know, and it took me a little bit to get back involved, but when I did, man, like I said, it's important. Like all that shit's important. And the other thing that is important is like this: show guys that we're fucking weirdo human beings, just like they are. We're not fucking like
humble, man.
I don't know about you, Jerry, but I've had to say this on numerous podcasts to explain to people, because I've had dudes, like I did the Lead Wasp podcast, like the British Army dude. He's like, Soldier Major, realistically, why do you guys care about the grass so much? Right? And I explained to him, I was like, the grass has got nothing to do with it, dude. It's all about perception. Perception is fucking reality. If I walk by your company area and the grass ain't cut, then you're fucked up, because you didn't take the initiative to fucking make it look.
Because you don't fucking care.
You do the right thing when no one's watching.
Yep, that's it, man.
You know,
but they always say, "Well, what does Sergeant Major care about the grass? He don't give a fuck about the grass. He gives a fuck about discipline, standards." You know, but
yeah. All right, Mac. I think we're gonna close this one out, because my battalion commander's got to work tomorrow. So
he's
I got a board I gotta sit tomorrow.
Well, if it's any consolation to you, before I took the company, I was ACRC for a little bit on Fort Bragg, because that was kind of where Flowers made me go to heal up after my platoon sergeant time. So I kind of got to see the Reserve National Guard, but I didn't. I mean, the only thing I did was me and Horn and Spence went over there, and we helped mobilize like a few of the PRT teams that mobilized, you know, OC them and shit.
Yeah.
But I got to meet over there, though. I did meet one of the PRT team commanders was a submarine commander, and that dude was one of the most squared away guys I ever met in my life, dude. Like, I mean, like to have the hodgepodge of people that he had, and he had a sergeant major that, or maybe it was a first sergeant that literally was like retired on active duty, one of those guys. And this guy just was, I mean, I'm telling you, dude, submarine commander in the Navy, those dudes, like,
they're pretty squared away usually.
Got to be fucking. And I mean, I've met a couple of fighter pilots that are pretty squared away too.
Man, our career is kind of, dude. I did ACRC too.
It's weird, isn't it?
Gruden was like, "Hey, you got to leave." I was like, "Man, I got done with HSC first our time. I was like, I was all into it, bro." And I was
Flowers was the one that put me there, because it was right there in Fort Bragg.
Yeah, well, I was like, I went to Gruden. I was like, man, I don't want to leave. He's like, you got to leave, bro. He's like, you got to leave. You've been here way too fucking long. You've been here since 2002, and it's like 2013, right? So, and I was so fucking pissed, man. I was like, what the fuck is ACRC kind of thing? But going there, man, it was a good.
Well,
dude, I realized how tired I was.
Yeah, I got to see the family, you know. Yeah. But it was weird. But like my deal with the ACRC thing was Flowers. Basically, when we got back, you know, when I left Alpha Company, he was like, "You're going. I already got you on assignment." And I was like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "You're getting change of duty, but it's right down the road." Like, so I was right there on Fort Bragg. And then as soon as I made the 8 list, you know, he emailed me from Afghanistan. You ready for a company? And was it Third Army is in charge of, or First Army in charge of ACRC? I remember
it's First Army.
First.
Yeah, it's First Army.
The First Army Sergeant Major came down to Fort Bragg and wanted to fucking chew my ass because I got on orders to go back to division. Technically, ACRC was a priority 1 assignment, but division, because Flowers emailed me and he's like, "You want to?" I was like, "Roger." And then I legit, like, right after the email, got a fucking email from Division G1 saying, "Hey, we're putting you on orders. Report to fucking replacement this day." And I went home that night and told my wife, I was like, "I'm going to Afghanistan on Monday." This was like a Wednesday.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. But it all worked out, man. It was worth it.
Nice.
You know, like
it's cool. It sounds like Flowers took care of you, man. He was like, "Here,
did.
back to our mentor." That's how it was for Love too, man. I think,
dude, I'll tell you, next to my dad, Flowers is a guy I look up to most in the world, and then third to that, I would say, as far as like who molded me as the leader I became was Love, man. Love, like, he showed me what right looked like, and and he gave a shit. And if I needed my ass chewed, he'd chew it. If I did a good job, he'd tell me good job, but he wouldn't fucking say it in front of the troops because he didn't want to fucking me to have a big head. And that's what he learned me. He's like, I remember Love told me one time too, he's like, "Remember, you ain't here for no fucking positive reinforcement. That's their job." I was like, you know how he used to do. Like, yeah. I used to, like, me and Cavazos were talking about how, I know we're getting off, but when he was like the West Point Sergeant Major, we're like, how the fuck? He's the most, because you know how Jackie used to talk like I do, It's like, what?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. I tell you though, he called me at every level, even when I was like getting ready to move positions, especially when I was battalion sergeant major, man. Like, my next assignment, he's helping me. I was like calling people to help me get it. Like, I was like, dude, you don't have to do this. Like, you don't need to do that, right? But that's just who he is, man.
That's who he is, man. Jackie,
and I knew if I fucked up, I'm gonna get my fucking ass chewed for it, which is what it is. But I like, again, I like my 30 years in the Army and the Marines, man. It's like I've met some really good people like you and him, Spence, Kavas, like all those guys, man, that like I looked up to as a young paratrooper, just seeing you guys were just awesome, man. It's good mentor people. And I'm just appreciative to met you guys, man.
Same, brother. We got to, like I said, the best thing for me about the military is you get to be around the best human beings on the planet. They might be some of the most politically incorrect, dirty, nasty, mean, but goddamn, they're good humans. Mm-hmm. The ones who are there for the right reasons.
Yeah, just fucking good dudes.
Yeah, any person that's willing to fucking die for you in a split second without thinking about it is a good fucking human.
Yep.
And the ones that aren't get weeded out quick.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we'll get ready to close this out. So again, for everybody out there, like, I want to thank Mac for coming on and talking. Him also 3 hours here. Talking about his story. So it's great.
I can talk, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's good, man. Oh. It's good. We love it, dude. It's like, I'm just honored, brother, to have you on here, man, and have you, like, when I shot that email, I was like, I don't know if he's going to come on. I don't know. I have to talk to him in a long time, but you taking time of your night to come talk to two old weirdos is appreciative. So
that's what we're all here for each other, man. And this shit, like I said, anytime you can do this with like-minded individuals, therapy, dude. Like, it's good for you. Yeah. I mean, like, as stuff goes on, I'll but once the movie stuff starts happening, I'll post about it and all, but it legit looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah. If you could just shoot some shares about our podcast,
absolutely.
The crew that it'd be awesome.
I'll get someone to share it. Yeah. Once you get it ready to actually launch to get dudes over to YouTube and all, I'll get some, hell, I'd probably get two to share it. You know who Two Lamb is?
Who?
Two Lamb. He's Ronin Tactics, but he's a special forces guy. He was in 325 when he was a private, through E4.
Yeah, I got one of his sights in my rifle.
Yeah, so he's a real good buddy of mine. He's got millions of followers, like, because he's got the character on Call of Duty. And we actually met doing an event with Jake Lures from August Burns Red and two, man. Like, he's, like I said, there's some, like, I was hurting this past year, like I said, and he's one of the dudes that reached out to me. Like I said, there's some.
That's awesome.
there's some dudes in this community who give a shit, man. And like,
Yeah.
and like, if you watch him, like, look at his story. He fucked up at the end of his career. Everybody talks, people talk about shit, but he preaches a good message. It's fucking be a good human, man. It's like, get up every morning and be thankful that you're fucking here, shit like that, And it's like he got me on TRT, man, and I'm starting to feel better now from that.
Nice.
Because like he told me, he's like, dude, we're over 50 now, man. He's like, get your testosterone. I got my testosterone checked, dude. I was at 115.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I
And
got that too, man.
and they say
I don't know anything about that. Is that good or bad?
Oh, it's bad. Like dig this way. Yours is going to be, especially like once you get out, but even now probably it's probably low as what it should be, just because all the shit, like they explained to me, like all the shit that we've done and our bodies have been through and all. We're not like typical dudes over 50, they're over 40, 50, their levels drop, but like ours are like super low, our vitamin D levels, all that shit. Like I did it. They did the full gambit. Like they checked everything, dude. My liver, all kind of shit. And yeah, my testosterone was like 115, dude.
Jesus.
So I've been on it for like a month and a half, and I'm starting to feel like, because I was just, I was kind of in a depressive state because all the shit was going on. But I also knew, like, I was like, dude, I just feel like shit. And I'm normally a workout guy. And when I hadn't been in the gym in like a month, I was like, something fucking wrong. Yeah. But like I said, man, that's what we do, man. We're here for each other. And he taught me, hooked me up with some guys, and then I hooked another guy up, and that's what it's about, dude. I mean, like, and I wanted to ask you one more question because it just popped up. Did you know Mersman? Jeffrey Mersman? The one that the one that fell down the mountain, 173rd, got shot.
Oh, Chris.
Shit.
Jeffrey Mersman, sergeant. I know Rutgers said he was his first sergeant, I think.
No, that would have been before me. If that was Rutgers' first sergeant, then no. Because when I got there, Mitch was already a first sergeant at that point himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'm saying he was Mersman's first sergeant when Mersman got killed. The only reason I was asking is Mersman was one of my guys in 82nd in OF1. Then he went with you guys and got killed, and from what they explained to me is he got shot while they're on patrol on the side of the mountain, and then somehow fell down, and they had to, do a dust one to get his body back and all this shit. And we had to call a dust one for one of our guys too. They got blown to bits.
I think that was before I came into the company.
Yeah, I got the dates. I think it was 07.
Jeez, so that may have been when the time when I think his name Lieutenant Dan Hall from Delta Company. That was a bad time for them when that PL got killed. That was August-September time frame, I believe, of 2007.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the reason I was just asking because Mersman was one of those kids. He was legitimately he was an accident waiting to happen every day. And, you got to see him turn into that NCO. And he was just, he was one of those kids, if you told him to go grab a fucking tree, he'd try to rip it out. But he couldn't do the creative thinking behind coming up with a smart solution to do it. One of those guys. And then when you see him grow, you're like, yeah. And then when I heard of it, it just sucks, like when you hear about those guys. But yeah, man, this is awesome, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. And like I said, anything y'all need, hit me up.
Yeah,
and, I'll share it and all.
We're on all the socials, man. I mean, we're on everything, so you can just find us by our name. So
I'm just mainly, I got the Instagram and the Facebook, and that's about it. I don't hardly.
All right.
I look at the Facebook messages, but that's about. I don't even hardly look at the shit because I don't do politics or none of that shit.
Yeah.
There's, as Bruce Dickinson said, if heavy metal bands ruled the world, we'd be a lot better off.
100%. Yeah. and we'll never have politics on here. So, all right, guys, we're going to go. But again, if you guys can like and share stuff, we're on all platforms. Just look for Boots and Shoots on Filters. And just want to say one more time, thanks for coming on, Mac. And then
great fucking pod, man.
Yeah, well, keep doing what you guys are doing, man. Seriously.
You got anything, Chris?
Nah, great fucking pod. I really appreciate you coming on, Mac.
No, I appreciate it, brother. Like I said, throw shade at your peers.
Yep.
Get some of them
Always.
and say, hey, dude, go talk to your boys.
All right, here we
Yep.
go.
All right, man.
All right, stop the recording.